We've got some pretty exciting matches on the way. Of course, we're still working our way through this tournament. We're still working our way through this World Heavyweight kind of eliminator as we're trying to find the opponent for Seth Rollins tonight at Night of Champions. So 2 triple threats are going to help us out. We've got AJ against Edge against Rey Mysterio. The winner of that is going to go on to face the winner of Theory, Lashley, Sheamus. So 2 triple threats. Then, of course, we know the main event will be the 2 winners facing each other. By the end of tonight, we will know who is going to go on to face Seth freaking Rollins. And that is going to be a big match. That is to crown the new World Heavyweight Champion. That's taking place, we know, at the next pay-per-view, which isn't that far away, few weeks away. We're looking at Night of Champions. That's over in Saudi Arabia, I believe. As well as that, though, we've also got Cameron Grimes. He's going to be taking on Baron Corbin. You might remember that match was made last week. So we've got Cameron Grimes against Baron Corbin. We've got the return of the Tribal Chief. So we better get some acknowledging going on. Get ready to acknowledge him. We've got the return of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Always exciting when Roman is on the show. Genuinely, like, it just gives it that extra dimension. So we've got Roman on the show. And then, of course, we've got a championship match, a very interesting championship match. This is going to be for the women's tag titles. Reason why I say it's interesting is because we know that Damage Control are definitely suffering at the moment. And this is going to be Bayley and Dakota trying to get the belts from Liv and Raquel. And we know that EO was unsuccessful at the weekend. We know that there could be a little bit of bad blood there because things were going well until Bayley and Dakota came down. Those eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that Dakota was not really eager to come down to the ring during Backlash. She definitely was talking to Bayley and saying to Bayley, like, I'm not sure this is the right thing to do as they were heading to the ring. As soon as they got to the ring, then she was on board. I think I would have liked to have seen Dakota just do a little bit more of that. Just make it a bit more obvious that she wasn't really on board with this plan. But she was definitely having a word with Bayley as they were coming down. She was definitely like, I don't know, this is the right thing to do. And ultimately it proved to not be the right thing to do because, of course, EO would go on to lose the match, even though Dakota and Bayley had made their way down. So how is EO feeling? What's the dynamic in Damage Control? Is it going to affect the match? Could EO cost Dakota and Bayley tonight accidentally / on purpose? There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get our teeth into. And as we said, you know, it should be a good show. And any show that's got Roman on is going to be interesting. So, yeah, we'll jump into the chat. JM Beer 434. Shout out to you, my friends. Appreciate the support. Hope you're well. I hope you're getting ready for a sexy Smackdown. Arlene the Bean says, I'm not always in the chat, but I do watch every stream. This community is so nice and it's so fun. Look forward to this shit. Arlene the Bean, shout out to you. That's nice. I like that. I love hearing from people that aren't always. I love hearing from people that are always in the chat, but I love hearing from people that aren't always in the chat as well, because I know there's many people that just sit back, relax, have a drink and just get ready for the show, or just have this on in the background so they can get some of that initial reaction from the community. So a big shout out, whether you join us on a regular basis, join us in the chat, or just lurk in the shadows. Shout out to you all. Right, we've got Kian that says, Days, hope you're well. Hope you're going to have a great stream. Let's see who the triple threat goes. I hope Edge tonight goes forward. I think he deserves it more than the other opponents, but I could get with AJ. Yeah, this is it. I mean, we could put a poll up, but there's 6 people involved, and the poll only allows you to put 4 options. So it's not going to work, unfortunately. And honestly, I think you could make an argument for the majority of these getting to the final. I think a lot of people would love to see AJ get the opportunity. It's been a long time since we've seen him around a kind of title. I think Edge has come out on social media and said that if he wins the title, as soon as he loses it, that would be it. You know, he's kind of already put out there his retirement plan. He said he knows the end is near. And he says that if he wins the belt, as soon as he loses it, that's it. He'll call it quits. And that could honestly be a great way to start this title. I mean, what a great name to have attached to a new world championship. The first champion was Edge. Like, that would be great. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. And he could drop it to someone younger, someone that's up and coming, someone that could carry that title, like Theory or someone, you know, for a little while. And, you know, ultimately, I think at some point Seth's going to get it. But does he have to get it first time of trying? I would say no. As long as he's been told you are going to get it, there is a plan, but we just want to do this for Edge first. I don't think Seth would have a big problem with that. I mean, there are rumblings that Seth is just a bit unhappy, a bit frustrated, feels like he's been pushed to the sidelines. I think that this belt, you know, certainly looks like something that has got his name on it. But I think if he was told, like, you're not going to get it straight away, I think he'd be all right with it. Certainly if it was because of Edge. Rey Mysterio's done great work. Look at the heat that his son has got. So this feud with his son has been a great success. So plus, how long has he got as well? So I think if Rey got it, I don't think there'd be many complaints. Theory doesn't need it at the moment, in all fairness. He's got the United States Championship. So he's probably the one that I would say needs it least right now. Lashley, I mean, Bobby, what do you do with Bobby? He's always around big matches, titles. He's been involved in the WWE title picture. He's been in a feud with Brock. Him being around this belt makes a lot of sense. Even if he's not the most popular of wrestlers, he's very credible. I think we can agree he's credible. He looks amazing. And I just feel like he's missing a few things. You know, he needs, like, he doesn't really have much in the way of personality. He just really gets in there and smashes people, which is fine, but you do need a bit of depth. I think you do need something to hang your hat on sometimes. And so I think he could really do with the Hurt Business, and we keep saying it, and it's not happening. So, yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, imagine Bobby with that belt and the Hurt Business. I mean, now we're cooking. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. You could do that. So, and Sheamus. Oh, just think of the year that Sheamus has had. Think of that match at Clash at the Castle. Think of that match at WrestleMania. Like, again, I don't think anyone would begrudge Sheamus getting his hands on that title. So it's tricky, to be honest. Of the 6 guys on the in the true triple threats today, I would say only Theory really is one that I would struggle to make an argument for. And even I think he'll be a world champ one day. I just don't think that day needs to be now or needs to be soon, because he's still got the US title. And at Night of Champions, I'm pretty sure he'll be defending that US title. So I don't think he is in the running for it. So, but he could win his triple threat. He could win his triple threat and then at least get to the final tonight. But if Theory's in the final tonight, I expect him to lose. I don't think he'll be going to Night of Champions because, as I said, surely he's got to defend the US title at Night of Champions. So, Aaron, shout out to you. Aaron says, it's the second coming of CM Punk on 17th of June. I'm so excited. My goats. Aaron, shout out to you. Aaron, excited about the CM Punk news. So, yeah, it looks like we're not far away from Collision. We're not far away from, I mean, AEW have got monster announcement next week. It's believed that CM Punk's going to be heavily involved in Collision and going to be heavily involved in their new show. And there's lots happening in that world, which is very exciting. So, Aaron, shout out to you. Hope you're well, buds. Mitchell, appreciate the support, my friends. Mitchell says, I don't care about SmackDown guys fighting for a Raw title. Let's not forget the women's titles are on opposite brands. They could easily defend on Raw. Also, we're getting AJ Ray Edge. So, in regards to SmackDown, people fighting for Raw title, I think it's a great point, and it's one that's confused a lot of people. It's one that WWE could have been a lot clearer about. They really could have helped us out on this one, but they didn't. I think, as we've said, I would be stunned if the SmackDown person didn't get moved to Raw. I mean, it literally would make no sense. I would not be able to work out what has happened. I wouldn't be able to work out why we've not fixed it. It wouldn't make any sense at all. I would need someone to really sit me down and go through it step by step as to how we got where we got if this new title ends up on SmackDown. Because the whole point of this new belt is to make sure Raw gets a belt and make sure it goes on to the opposite brand to Roman. So that has to mean, I don't think WWE have still clarified this, but it has to mean that if a SmackDown person wins, they get moved over to Raw. I suppose the problem is because they haven't come out and said that, it might make people think, and maybe rightfully so, that the SmackDown people just don't have a chance. I mean, that is very realistic, isn't it? Why should we care about these SmackDown triple threats when we know that it's a Raw belt? And Seth is going to represent Raw, so surely Seth wins, which is very logical and a perfectly fine way to look at it, to be honest, because I think Seth does win. But all I would counter with is that there is a chance that we could see a trade and we could see Cody moving in the other direction. So Cody gets switched with whoever wins tonight, maybe, if the person tonight does win overall. So, there are definitely a few little that could happen, but shouldn't really have to be speculating like that. It would be nice if the company was to come out and just really paint a very clear picture rather than the Picasso that they have painted for us. So yeah, I do understand that way of thinking. Let's not forget the women's titles are on opposite brands. That is also true. I suppose part of me is just hoping that we're going to see some new belts. I think rather than swapping the titles, I think I would just rather that both the women's titles get rebranded. So I'm keeping a little hope for that. We just saw a new belt, a new title being introduced, the World Heavyweight Championship, new belt design and everything. That certainly makes me think that we're not going to split up the WWE and Universal, because why do we need 3 World Championships? We don't. So if we've got the World Heavyweight over on Raw, surely that means the WWE Championship stays on SmackDown. Universal can just do one, right? It's a bit of a shame because there's been a lot of work put into that, but whatever. The WWE one goes back to the 60s. Yeah, that's way more important. So, do we get some sort of winged eagle belt with that WWE logo in the center, very similar to the World Heavyweight one we saw? Do we get some along those lines? Are we going to get a new belt that's going to represent SmackDown and just be one title for Roman to carry rather than the 2, right? So that could happen. If we're doing that kind of work, are we then going to start looking at the women's titles? Perhaps we move away from the Raw Women's Championship. We get the WWE World Women's Championship or Women's World Championship. Maybe we get the WWE Women World. I don't know if you go World Women's or Women's World. I think Women's World sounds better. Women's World Championship and Women's WWE Championship. Maybe you just don't name them after Raw and SmackDown, because that is the problem. Every time they switch, we end up in the situation we are now. So why does it have to be named after Raw and SmackDown? It doesn't, does it? So it does make sense to change them to the what did we agree? Women's World Championship and Women's WWE Championship. Now, there's no rumors of that, but that would make some sense. So, yeah, a small part of me is hoping for a rebrand, but we'll have to wait and see. They could easily move and defend on Raw. Also, AJ Ray Edge. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a banger, man, doesn't it? Even just forgetting that's in a title match tournament thing. AJ Styles versus Edge versus Rey Mysterio is like one of those matches you'd probably put together on 2K23. It's like, a proper dream match type situation. I'm going to take Edge. I'm going to take Rey Mysterio. I'm going to take AJ Styles and put them in a match and see what happens. I've said before, I'm not a fan of multi-person matches, but there is a big kind of asterisk at the end of it. I don't mind them if it's not for a belt. And this technically isn't for a belt yet. It's a match to try and get to a final, but it's not for the actual belt. The reason why I don't like it being so much for a belt is because I think it's just such a disadvantage for the champion. For example, if Edge was the champion here, AJ could pin Rey and Edge would lose his title. I'm just not a fan of that. I just think if you are the best, the belt should be on the best. And these kind of multi-person matches, they don't always help us find who is the best. Now, granted, you can use that as part of a storyline. You can use that as a creative device. So I do understand that aspect of things. I understand this is entertainment, sports entertainment. I'm just not a fan of it. Yeah, I'd rather just go a different way when it comes to it being for a title. So, I wasn't really crazy about like the Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther. I mean, the match itself was brilliant. It was so much fun, but I would counter argue that I think Gunther versus Drew would have been just as good. I think Gunther versus Sheamus, we know, was just as good. We saw it at Clash at the Castle. So for it being for an actual title, that's the bit that I'm not too keen on. But if this is just going to be a fun, go for it kind of a match, I don't mind these at all. Honestly, they're just wacky fun. Anything can happen. This is where I kind of enjoy the triple threats, the fatal four ways that little bit more when there's not like someone that's going to lose a belt. Granted, we're trying to find the best number one contender, but it's not for a belt. I'm sure other opportunities will come along for these people if they do get cheated a little bit here, and we'll see. It's definitely a match to look forward to. So yeah, AJ, Edge, Mysterio. Then we got Theory, Lashley, Sheamus. Then we got Corbin against Grimes. Then we got Liv and Raquel against Bayley and Dakota. Right, I want to make sure that I'm keeping on top of these. Russ with Andy, hello, says days, an extra Z. Who's next for Roman? Well, we'll find out tonight, won't we? We'll find out tonight, I would imagine. So whoever's going to face Roman at Night of Champions, we haven't got long to go. They're going to have to make their presence felt tonight. Now, I don't think it's going to be anyone that's in this tournament because they're in this tournament. Of course, they could turn their attention to Roman once he comes out later in the show. But just to try and help us out a little bit, I'm going to say that if you're already in a match, you're not going to be facing Roman. So let's just have a quick look and see if we eliminate the 6 guys that are in these matches, who does that leave? So not AJ, not Theory, Big E's not back, not Lashley. You do have Bray Wyatt, but I don't see that happening. Not Edge, well, you do have Carrion, but he is a bit of a heel, isn't he? That wouldn't really make much sense. LA Knight is a heel, but he's getting crazy cheers at the moment. Not Ray. Not Sheamus. Oof, I tell you what, there's not loads of people here. I'm looking at this. Once you take these 6 guys out, it doesn't really leave anyone. You've got Angelo Dawkins, Ashanti the Adonis, Big E, Bray Wyatt, Butch, Cameron Grimes, Cruz del Toro, Elton Prince of Pretty Deadly, Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller would be amazing. First night getting called up, go straight after Roman. That would be wild. Jimmy J. Uso, no. Whacking Wild, no. Carl Anderson, no. Karrion Kross. Kit Wilson, no. LA Knight. Could they pull the trigger on LA Knight? Imagine if LA Knight confronts Roman tonight and this place go, but he's a heel? I mean, I know he's getting cheered, but he is technically a heel. That would be wild, though, wouldn't it? That would be wild. Luke Gallows, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Can't be, if we're not having Ray or anyone in the matches, can't be Ray. Rick Boogs, Ridge Holland, Santos Escobar, Shanky, Solo Sikoa, Top Dollar. Let's go. So it's going to be Top Dollar. It's going to be Top Dollar first over the top rope match. It doesn't leave much, does it? It doesn't leave much there at all. It'll be Riddle. Is there a rumor that it's Riddle? Because Riddle is over on Raw now. Riddle's on Raw. Plus also, didn't Riddle lose a match last year that says he can't challenge for the title again? Pretty sure he did. Pretty sure when he lost on SmackDown, the stipulation was he wasn't allowed to challenge for the titles whilst Roman is champion. So I don't think it'll be Riddle, to be honest. Unless they're just going to... I am 99.9% certain that was a stipulation. Because I remember Riddle even walking out on Raw, pleading with Roman, saying, come on, bro, I know that I lost that match and I know that stipulation was in place, but come on, let's give the people what they want. One more match. And Roman was like, nah. So I distinctly remember that. So I don't think it'll be Riddle. And as we said, he's over on Raw as well. Maybe it's going to have to be one of the 6. Perhaps it is going to have to be one of these 6. Perhaps if they fail here, they just rock up later in the show, interrupt Roman and, go after him instead. I don't know how I feel about that. If you lost earlier, unless Roman interferes in one of the matches, but why would he do that? AJ Styles against Roman would be pretty sick though, wouldn't it? AJ Styles against Roman would be sick. Imagine if Roman, for some reason, interrupts and costs AJ, and then AJ, steps up to Roman later. I don't think it'll go that way, but once you take those 6 names out, it's slim picking, man. It is slim picking. Unless you count Flop Dollar. WrestleBuzz, shout out to you, my friends. Appreciate the support as always. Says, Days, happy Friday. With Isla and Albert joining SmackDown and the lack of women's tag teams in NXT. What do you think they've got planned for those titles? It's a really good question because it is a very strange situation. I haven't heard anything on this, so this is just a guess. I don't think there is enough women's teams to warrant 2 tag titles on the main roster. Like I can't get my head around that unless they're going to try and use it as a way to form loads of new teams and really use those as mid-card belts. Because we've said before, the women's tag titles are actually really good mid-card belts because whenever you have a match, you have 4 women involved, which is obviously better than a singles match where you'd only have 2 women involved. So, you could have 2 women's mid-card belts, one on Raw, one on SmackDown, right? Which would serve the same purpose. But if you want to just get a load of women into one match and kind of use the time on somewhere else, which is maybe a bad way of looking at it, but basically you could get one match and get 4 women involved rather than 2 matches and still only have 4 women involved. Right, so the tag belts are actually quite good as a mid-card thing. The problem with the tag belts is they just don't feel important. They just don't feel that important. And we just haven't really given them the love. I mean, there's been some good teams that have had them, but they've never really felt like belts comparable to, the other mid-card titles, for example. I would say they feel like probably the weakest belts on the main roster. Now that the 24/7 belt has gone, I would say they probably feel like the weakest. But I like them. I would keep them. I think we only need 1 set on the main roster. I don't think we need 2 sets on the main roster. It is very interesting that Albert and Isla have brought them up to SmackDown. Part of me wonders, are they going to have 2 sets on the main roster? Are we then going to put a load of new teams together? Are we going to really just grow the division now? Which would be fine. Bit weird, but it would be fine to do that. Or are we going to use this as a way of bringing up women to the main roster to try and win the NXT titles back, because that's something that we could do. You know, we see it in AEW, and I'm not a fan of it in AEW. I'm not a fan of everyone having a belt and like us seeing the Ring of Honor champions all the time. But I don't mind it as like a bit of an exception where, you know, we have the NXT tag titles, women's tag titles on SmackDown. NXT women want it back and want it back for NXT. And so they come to SmackDown to try to win them, to try and get it back to NXT. What that does is it means that Isla and Alba have got some titles so that they look important, right? Even though they don't have main roster titles, they've still got some belts to look important. They're the only ones with those belts. So the difference, I would say, to what AEW are doing is AEW have got like the Ring of Honor World Championship, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. We've seen Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So we've seen a few different Ring of Honor belts. Haven't we seen the Ring of Honor TV Championship as well? That was on Samoa Joe. So I think we've seen like 4 sets of Ring of Honor belts on AEW's main roster. For me, that's too much, along with the AEW belts. And certainly when you think you're only dealing with a 2-hour show, right? I don't watch Rampage, but I see the AEW belts and the Ring of Honor belts, and then sometimes like the AAA titles, New Japan titles, all within the space of a 2-hour show, right? That's a lot of belts, man. So I wouldn't look to do this like as a regular thing, but I think as an exception, it could be fun, whereby Alba and Isla have got some belts that belong to NXT. They're not willing to give them back. They're not willing to forfeit them. And so we get some NXT stars coming up trying to win them back. And it would be a nice little bridge between NXT and the main roster, which, to be honest, we could probably do with having. I think if you want to boost those NXT ratings and just give it a little tickle, you know, just showcasing a few stars that are down in NXT, it's not the worst idea in the world. I would say it probably fits better on the 3-hour Raw, though, you know? In a way, I suppose I'm a bit surprised they don't do this already. Could you imagine if on every Raw there was an NXT match, or we took a main roster star and we put them up against an NXT superstar? So this week, we're going to introduce to you Bron Breakker. Next week, we're going to introduce to you Carmelo Hayes. Next week, we're going to introduce to you the Creed brothers, right? And so just once a week, one match, main roster team or main roster star against an NXT talent. Don't forget, you can watch NXT on USA Network on a Tuesday at this time, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it just makes sense. And certainly on Raw, it makes sense because it's the same TV network. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you watch Raw on a Monday on USA Network, just rock up 24 hours later, you can watch NXT. And you'd think they'd want to do that to boost the numbers. And they've got 3 hours to play with. I don't know. I mean, we have seen some NXT stars on the main roster before him having matches. The NXT Championship even changed hands the night after WrestleMania 38 on Raw. And Paige, obviously, when she came out and had that match with AJ Lee. But it's probably something we could do on the regular. So, to answer your question, I don't know what they're going to do with the women's tag titles. Would I keep 2 on the main roster? I mean, right now, no. Just because we just don't have any teams. So, we're either going to have to build a load of teams, right? Or we're going to use it as a bridge between the main roster and NXT, which I'm really not against. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with seeing that. But I wouldn't do that long term. Do you know what I mean? Just do it for a month or so. Bring a few people up, just get people. But a weird thing to do on SmackDown, which is on Fox. It doesn't make any. This doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, if you was going to do that, you would do it on Raw because of the USA Network connection. But we'll see. So yeah, WrestleBuzz, great question, dudes. Great, I love that because it's a real thinker. It's a real thinker. It's one that you've kind of got to mentally wrestle with. Aaron says Conor McGregor versus Roman at SummerSlam. Well, I'll take that, mate. I'll take that. There's a hell of a size difference, though. I think if you used to see Conor standing next to Roman, you'd probably be quite shocked at the size difference. That is very interesting because we talk a lot about smaller wrestlers. Well, I say a lot. We do touch on it sometimes because of the fact that WWE have got a history of not really wanting to push the smaller wrestlers. But it is true that, like, on TV, you can't really tell the size of people. I mean, like, Conor's a massive star. Floyd Mayweather's a massive star. But if you actually see them in real life, they are quite small. That just doesn't always come across on TV, and certainly not when they're facing people their own size anyway. It's only if they're stood next to other people that you can really see, like, the size difference. But Conor would be significantly smaller than Roman. That would be an interesting little fight, actually. That'd be an interesting little fight. I would expect Conor to win, of course, but yeah, the size difference would definitely give me pause for thought. But I think, Conor's skills are too advanced. He'd be able to overcome that difference. NWE Figure Wrestling said he won't defend. WWE want the new World Heavyweight Championship to main event. He will instead have a ceremony to celebrate the 1,000 days. And in that ceremony, we could possibly get Roman kicking out the Usos. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that. That does actually make sense. The only thing I would say, though, is because he didn't defend at Backlash, we have a conversation a lot about, like, Roman's part-time champ. I hate the fact that Roman never is on the show and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of agree. Partly, a little bit of me disagrees. The reason why I say this is because for me, as long as he defends 12 times a year, so every 30 days, it's the old school rule. The old school rule is that you defend your championship every 30 days, right? So as long as he does that, he ticks the box. And he hasn't defended since WrestleMania. I believe WrestleMania and Cody was his last match. So, we're sat here. It's been over 30 days now. I mean, I'm starting to get a bit antsy. He defended in April. He defended at WrestleMania. But we ain't seen a defense in May, and you fast forward a couple of weeks once we get to Night of Champions, that would be fine. That would be fine for him to do that there, right? I don't mind the fact he wasn't at Backlash, because as I said, he defended in April, he defended at WrestleMania. If he defends in May at Night of Champions, fine. But if we're now saying he's not going to defend at Night of Champions, then, I can start to understand the frustration that people feel. I can start to understand people being a bit off with, like, I hate Roman. He never defends. We never see him. Even not seeing him is not a problem for me. Even not seeing him is not a problem. As I said, when it comes to boxing, Tyson Fury and Usyk, they're the boxing world heavyweight champions. When it comes to MMA, like, I think about John Jones, he's the heavyweight champion, or I'll think about Leon Edwards, right? Or whoever, right? We only see them a couple of times a year. In real combat sports, you obviously can only fight a few times a year, right? You can't fight every month. Your body just wouldn't be able to recover. Obviously, this is scripted. Yeah, and so, we can work on a more regular basis. So that's fine. But that there does have to be a line, doesn't there? There does have to be a point where you say, nah, this is not good enough. For me, the line is quite simple. If you're a champion, you have to defend every 30 days. That's my line. That's the unofficial rule. You have to defend every 30 days. I think if you are a champion and you rock up 12 times a year and defend your title, that is the minimum that I expect from you. That is the minimum I expect. And, I would probably be a bit down on the fact that none of those matches had a build, because if this person only showed up for the matches, then that means they probably weren't on Raw. They probably weren't on SmackDown. They weren't helping to build the feuds and, do promos and all that kind of stuff. So I would still have an issue, even with them appearing only 12 times a year. But I have to be honest, that is my bare minimum. That is the least that I would be looking for from a champion. Right? So for me, if we're gonna not see him, if he's gonna be there but he's not gonna defend it, I probably won't cry about it. There's much bigger problems in the world, but I equally would understand people being frustrated with it. But you could absolutely be right. And, do you make an exception? Do you say, well, he has reached 1,000 days, so part of his prize should be that he can have that pay-per-view off, basically. He's still got to go and be at the ceremony, but we're going to, rather than him having a match, we're going to honor him instead. If they were to come out with that, you can spin something like that and I'll end up buying it. So maybe you could get me on that. Maybe if you turned around and said, well, he's just reached this amazing historic milestone. So rather than making him have a match, we're going to give him a ceremony. If it was presented to me and worded to me like that, I think I'd be like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing, right? I'm onto you. But all right, I can go with you on it. I think it'd be one of those. Interesting though. Right. Rumors are Sami and Kevin versus Roman and Solo at Night of Champions, says Diana Jets. James said, Days, awesome news for MLW. They've signed a multi-year deal with Fight TV. Pay-per-views on Fight Plus. That is good news. Always good to see these companies thriving. It's good to see them thriving and not just surviving, but it's good to see them surviving as well. I think if you're a wrestling fan, you want to see these companies get in those kinds of deals because could you imagine wrestling without like the smaller companies? I mean, where would these people like learn their skills? And they can be such good feeding grounds for the likes of AEW and WWE. And not only that, people that love wrestling that just maybe don't quite make the grades or are just starting out, it gives them somewhere to cut their teeth, basically. Or in like Jacob Fatu's case, someone that would be good enough, but for legal reasons, can't quite get into the WWE system, So serve such an important role, these kind of smaller promotions. I mean, I thought Evolve was fantastic, and that ended up closing its doors. There's been a few, actually, that have closed their doors. Obviously, Ring of Honor as well hit the rocks, and then Tony came and saved the day. There's been a few that unfortunately have left us. So, yeah, that is good news. Godfather's Ho said, Days, inhaling Ken Patera's plumpers. Wow. It's going to be Seth and AJ in the finals. This will be AJ's slight comeback, but we'll lose to Seth. WWF ice cream bars gave me diarrhea back in the day. Is that true? Did they? I don't know that we had them here in the UK, I don't remember them. I mean, I do remember them. I remember seeing the adverts for them. But the thing is that when those adverts were being shown, I don't think that we here could go and buy the product. I don't, because WWE magazine or WWF magazine, if they had them in there, then it was just printed and those copies were sent around the world. They didn't change the adverts for the different countries. So quite often they would advertise stuff and it would have dollar signs. And I think as a kid, you kind of knew that there was a good chance that this wasn't available in England or this wasn't available in this country, I don't remember ever having one. So, and they relaunched them, didn't they? I don't even know if we got those. So I think I just totally missed out on the whole WWF ice cream bar thing. Even when CM Punk brought it all back as well. So one day, I think I did try one though. You can get ice cream bars. So, I mean, I think I've tried an ice cream bar. I just haven't had one that's had the big boss man's face stamped onto it, which have you lived? If you've never had an ice cream bar that's got Hillbilly Jim stamped onto the front of it, have you even lived a life? So, yeah. Even if you did get diarrhea, I wish I had diarrhea from eating a WWF ice cream bar. Just know I'm jealous. Big Time Backstat said, days, all these eyeballs watching WWE product. There's no reason why NXT isn't around 650, 750. Main roster casuals watch the video packages on Raw and they shrug their I love that idea. I love the idea that casual fans are watching SmackDown and Raw. It gets to an NXT video package and all as one, in unison, without any hesitation, they all go like that, all at the same time, around the world. They all shrug their shoulders. Do people do that in real life? I suppose they do, don't they? Do you want to go to the cinema? We need to bring that back. Shrugging of shoulders needs to be brought back. I don't even know if it ever went away, but I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with someone where that happened. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't know if I've ever spoke to someone and the response has been... Oh man, I really want to see that now. I really want to see as one all the wrestling fans watching NXT video packages go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what NXT should be getting. I know what it does get, where it should be, and what it should be getting. I don't know. I mean, I think it's always been around that kind of 657 mark since it's been on USA Network, and as we said, for the longest time, it was on the WWE Network, and I don't know what it was getting there. I don't know what it was getting there because they don't issue those numbers. We never got access to that data. So I think it makes it a little bit tricky. I think it's interesting how what I don't actually think about it. I don't see AEW fans doing what WWE fans do. A WWE fan, I mean, I've got to think that it's a hardcore WWE fan that's running AEW botches, right? I've got to think that it's probably hardcore WWE fan that's running Kenny Olivier or whatever. I've got to think that it's WWE fans that are doing that. I don't see AEW fans taking the mick out of NXT's ratings. NXT's ratings never get mentioned now, do they? Which is really interesting. They was when it was head-to-head. But now that NXT and AEW are no longer head-to-heads, like I don't see people bantering NXT on whatever they've got. No one. Do you know? It's even worse. Actually, no one cares. You're right. The whole IWC have gone like this to NXT right now. It's a decent show though. I did struggle with it when it was 2.0, but since they've switched over. And moved away from 2.0. But to be honest, more than that. Even 2.0, I don't think was even like the booking or anything. I think 2.0 was just too much new talent at the same time. It was too many people that just was hard to care about because you didn't know much about them. They were a bit green in the ring, and it was a flood of new faces. It was a reset. It was a restart, and it was just a bit. Do you know what I mean? Some people stood out, but a lot of people were just like, just not bothered. But as time went by and they started to improve and they started to get their storytelling going and they started to, do a bit more kind of off-site stuff and whatever, I think it really started to get into a bit of a groove, and I think it's in a decent place now. So if you're not watching NXT, I would recommend it. I always think NXT is just worth watching anyway, because of the fact that, these are the people that are going to be the stars of tomorrow. We know that Tiffany Stratton's going to be a star. Tiffany Stratton's going to be a big star. Like a Sol Ruka as well. I mean, I think Sol Ruka's got an amazing future. I think Tiffany Stratton's got an amazing future. I think there's a lot of hype and hope around Roxanne Perez. We know Bron Breakker was expected to come up. We know Carmelo Hayes is the current champion. There was a lot of hope and hype around Grayson Waller, who we're going to be seeing tonight. So, I mean, you can really watch on a Tuesday the stars of tomorrow. But to be honest, a lot of people are just like, I'll just wait for tomorrow. I'll just wait for tomorrow. I'll just wait for him to hit the roster and then I'll care. which to be honest, I can understand, you know, I can understand it. It's only so many hours in a day. Cynthia said, did you see my super chat? No, I don't believe I did. Did I miss it? William, shout out to you. Appreciate the support, dude. Hashtag 999 days Roman. When is that? When is 999 days Roman? I don't know when that. Oh, what? You think he'll end at 999? Okay. That would be funny. No, Cynthia, I'm thinking now, where is... I didn't see it. Don't super chat it. Just put whatever you put in the thing, and I will keep an eye out right now for it, right? I'll keep an eye out for it. You know I'm rubbish at reading these super chats. I try my best. But just type it, and I will read it. Days, did you see that Rev Pro have announced Will Ospreay versus Shingo in London the day before All In? Oh, they've got to be involved then, haven't they? That's basically a spoiler, isn't it? They're going to be there the day before. What? And then they're just going to go home. No, I didn't, but that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Moldy, shout out to you. NWE Figures said, what is your opinion on the Riddle leak situation? Do you think he will get released? What would you do? To be honest, I haven't seen anything on it, right? I saw that he was trending. I clicked on it, and all I saw was people saying, I can't believe I've got naked Riddle on my timeline, and that was enough for me to leave. Right, that was enough for me to go, because at that point I was like, yeah, forget that. So I have not seen the video or the images or whatever the thing is, right? The thing, the nakedness. I don't know. So I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know if he was on his own or if he was with a partner or what it was, or if it was a selfie, or you'll have to excuse me because I didn't dig into it and look any further. I literally saw, I can't believe I've got naked Riddle on my timeline. That was enough for me to leave. So will he be released? I don't know what he was doing, so I can't say. I mean, if it's a hack, which I've got to think this probably, if he's purposely put up a naked picture of himself, yes, he's in big trouble, because Mandy Rose got in big trouble for putting up naked pictures of herself, right? So if he's put up naked pictures of himself, he's in big trouble. If it's a phone hack, if it's not something that's gone up with his consent, that's a different story, right? That's out of his control. They might have a word with him saying you've got to be more careful, but that's life, innit? That's life, you know. That could be an image or something he shared with a partner, and then it's ended up going out, or a video, or, you know, sex tape, or I don't know what it is, but it's ended up getting out there. I don't know that there'd probably be a word, but I don't think he would lose his job over that per se, because again, you know, that if anything is a victim, isn't he? He's a victim there. So, but again, it would depend what was the content of it as well. So, yeah, I don't know. You know more details than me, so you'll know if it's leaked. You'll know if he released it. You'll know what he's doing in the content, and then you should be able to get to the conclusion. I was still looking for Cynthia here. I was keeping an eagle eye out. Almost time to throw up the wands, says Brony. Moldy said he was using it like a police baton on the table. It was quite impressive. Okay, well, actually, rather than getting in trouble, maybe he could go on America's Got Talent. I don't know. Bora said, Days, Mark Henry and Mae Young's son, Hand Henry, is training to be a WWE superstar. Do you think he could be a world champion? No, but I bet he'd be very handy on the card. That was awful. Do you remember when we saw him at like a Legends reunion thing? Do you remember that? And they had a man in a hand costume, and he was all grown up. I mean, it was wild, wasn't it? Do you know what I heard, right? I heard, because I don't know if this was just someone trying to make sense of the situation, but I heard that apparently women have used hands and things like this in the past as like sex. Of course, it's discontinued. I just got a little message saying OBS is discontinued. OBS is getting very worried. My streaming software is getting very nervous right now. My streaming software just went bye like this. No, we're back. Yeah, so I heard, like, I don't know if it was an article or something, but there was something, a podcast or something, where they were like, why a hand? Why was it a hand? And I think they were trying to make logic of it. And they said that, like, it could have been like a sex toy type thing that's got, you know, lost. And then she ended up, like, giving birth to it. And maybe that's an explanation, or they believed that's what was going on. And I was kind of like, I think trying to make sense of it is, you know, it's one of the, what I heard was apparently there was a meeting, and when it came to the, like, what's she going to give birth to part of that meeting, Vince just said, how about a hand? And just started laughing his head off. And that was it. That was it. There's no deeper level. There's no, like, trying to get your head around what were they thinking, what was going on. I believe it was just, you know, a hand. That's hilarious in Vince's world. And that was it. That was the end of it. She's going to give birth to a hand. And that was it. I mean, honestly, there must be some days, if you're working with Vince and you're in creative, where you just must leave a meeting room, and you're just, like, in shock. Like, you've got to go back and tell everyone else in the creative department what has just been discussed. Imagine that. Imagine going back going, you'll never guess what he wants. You'll never guess what he wants to do. He wants Mae Young to give birth. Huh? No, listen, I haven't even started because I haven't even told you what she's giving birth to yet. Yeah, there must be times where you're just like, just part of me missed those days. I suppose a little bit. I mean, it was very unpredictable. You didn't know what you was going to get. I mean, could you imagine some of the reactions? I say everything. A lot of things are a bit more logical now. But part of me does miss that kind of wacky out there stuff. But I think the world's just moved on. I think, you know, it was of its time. I don't know that it would work in this day and age. I think people would just be like, huh? What's going on? Whereas back then, I think people were just having a laugh. People were just having fun. People were just enjoying it for what it was. But I don't think that's kind of where we are with the current product at the moment. So yeah, wilds. Do you remember Power Slam magazine? Said Brian. I do. I never got it though. I never got Power Slam magazine, but I do remember it. Nolene, hello. Shout out to you, my friend. Dave's just popping in to say hello. Nolene, shout out to you. Hope you and Patrick are well, my friends. Yeah. Thoughts with the O'Neills, and send in lots of love. Lots of love to everybody. William said, I'm not a fan of anyone being a champion at anything that long. It makes the title moat. Then the people fighting for it, fake idol. It's the title that deserves the admiration. James said, apparently Savio Vega said that he is interested in being Bad Bunny's manager. I bet he is. Kits, you only have to work one day a year, maybe two. Kitson said, do you think Ray should face Dominik in a hair versus mask match? Yes, I do. But you would probably have to do that when Ray's ready to retire. So I don't know that Ray's ready to retire yet. I don't actually think he should retire yet. I think for me, and this, you know, this Ray can do what he wants. But I think for me, Ray probably should look to do another, say, 12 months. 12 months. If he wants to do 24 months, brilliant. If he wants to do longer, brilliant. But I think he's at a point now where, you know, people of his generation are calling it quits. And, you know, their bodies aren't where they were. Ray certainly looks pretty good in the ring. The only thing I would say is he might not feel as good in the ring, you know, and mentally, I don't know quite where he's at. I think Dominik has really revitalized him. I think it's given Ray something else to focus on and something else to think about how am I going to get my son into this business. And he must be looking at what Dominik's doing right now and where Dominik is right now. He must just beam with pleasure and joy, and, you know, he just must be so proud that you know, Dominik's getting the reactions he's getting, because it's weird, isn't it? He's getting booed out the building like no one, but the heat is so strong, it is so loud that, I mean, if you was to turn them to cheers and he was a baby face, well, you'd be one of the most over baby faces in the company. So the fact he's a heel and they're boos and they're that loud, what better for a heel? What more could you ask for as a heel than to get that sort of heat? So he is killing it. They have killed it. They've done a great job. And Ray's done a great job. And he must be beaming with pride. So what I would say is that hopefully we're back. Everybody, hopefully we're back. Yeah, I've got this horrible thing that keeps happening now, and it is horrible, where the streaming software just freezes. I mean, I'm talking away, and when I look on the screen, I'm just like that. But, I mean, it's easy to fix. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, I don't know where I got to. I was saying he must be so proud of what he's done with Dominik, and I would like to see him wrestle for another 12 months or 24 months, really end his career on a high, do it for him, have some banging matches. Don't worry about Dominik now. Dominik's doing his own thing. So finish your career off and then end with hair versus mask. Boom. We got there, and we got there just as SmackDown begins. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Days, glad you're back. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. I am happy to be back, and I am happy that we are going over to SmackDown. Let's go, baby. I would imagine we're probably going to go straight into a match, because we've got to get these matches done as quick as possible because of the fact it's only a 2-hour show. So if we're going to do the main events being the winners facing each other, surely we have to get going with these triple threats. Okay, the University of Tennessee is where we are. Roman Reigns returns tonight. Roman Reigns returns tonight on Fox. You think you know me? You think you know me? On the stage, I see clearly. They showed AJ and Ray's entrances online, did they? That's new. Right. AJ versus Edge versus the other one. Ray. Edge comes out, stares at that championship. Kojiko! Oh. He's done it on purpose again, you know. Do you remember last time I said he waits? Doesn't he? He waits for the start of the show because he knows the show's begin. First of all, he knows this is the best time to drop a super chat because everyone's here for the very start. Oh, he does it on purpose. It's really annoying. Rated R Superstar making his way out. He's probably always done this. I've just never noticed before. Spanish. Edge's kids are in the crowds. Michael Jackson's rotten feet exposed, riddled with fungus, and too misshapen to dance. Well, that's not true. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but if there was someone whose feet were too rotten to dance, it certainly was not Michael Jackson. Unless they were in a bad way when he passed away. There's Ray. But he could go. He could go. Don't you dare ever suggest that Michael Jackson can't dance. That's not how we're starting this stream, let me tell you. That's not how we're starting SmackDown. By disrespecting the dancing skills of Michael Jackson. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Coach Co, shout out to you, buds. I haven't said hello to Austin as well. I always say hello to Austin. Here's Alfie. Sorry I'm late. Miss much, did I? How's you? You miss some fun conversations. I think some interesting little chats that we were having as we were digging into the wrestling world. Just talking about how many times should a champion defend, and talking about what we're going to do with the women's tag titles and the bridge between the main roster and NXT. I mean, we just go where the conversation goes, but we had some good chats. We're underway with this first match, which I've got to say, everyone's looking quite sharp here. I mean, look, AJ is all in blue. Edge is in all white. Ray is in blue and gold. I think Ray would have looked cool if he was all gold. You got Edge in blue, you got AJ in blue, Edge in white, and I think Ray in all gold would look really cool. Basically, Ray ruined it. He ruined it. He's got a bit of blue. He's got a bit of gold. Isan, shout out to you, my friend, said, don't be fooled. Auburn is the best university. Thank you. Thank you. I was fooled, to be honest. I was thinking Harvard. But you're telling me that Auburn is the best university. Actually, do you know what I thought the best university was? Chase. I mean, that only makes sense if you watch NXT. Chase University, that's the best. Because it's got Thea Hale. But it turns out, according to Isan, it's actually Auburn. Dylan said, Days, it's reported that Solo and Roman are taking on Sammy and Kevin at Clash at the Champions. Night of Champions. Oh, God, I don't like that at all. Although, saying that, they are the tag champs. And, I mean, Sammy only said the other day they're done with the bloodline. But, I mean, if Roman comes out and said that he's going to fix the problem or something, you know? That'd be, imagine if he got the flipping tag belts as well. He'd have to have one around his waist, one on this shoulder, one on this shoulder. Imagine that. Yeah, that'd be... Do I like that? Does the... No, I don't. Do I? I don't know. I'm so confused. I feel like we need to get the titles off Sammy and Kevin because... Not bothered about them as a team. I'd much rather see them solo, to be honest. And then, like, do you imagine, like, Roman's got the titles that Usos had? Kick there by Edge. Edge has got Ray, fall away slam. But Hayden, here he is. Days, I've been a member for 21 months. Dude, that's amazing. I mean, that's longer than me. That is longer than me. I've only been a member for about 3 weeks. I've only been on this channel for about 3 weeks. You've been here 21 months. Believable. I mean, that is mental if you think you're sneaking up to 2 years. I mean, you're in Roman Reigns territory, Hayden. You're basically this community's Roman Reigns. Kick out by Edge. I hope you're well, Hayden. Hope you had a good day. Jim said, I think Barrett is confused about the WWE World Championship. Mikhail Barriano is a way better dancer than Michael Jackson. He is a world and universal champion, said BB Ipsy. Listen, I'm not going to get into a competition about who's a better dancer or a conversation argument about who's better dancers. Just saying that Michael Jackson could dance. There's many things we can say about Jackson, but saying he can't dance. I'm not having fake news on these SmackDown watch-alongs. We're not doing it. This needs to be a haven for facts. Right, we've gone to commercial break. We had AJ and Edge on the outside of the ring as Rey Mysterio went through the ropes and landed a drop kick, I believe, through the ropes. He went through the legs, kicked to the midsection there by AJ. It was AJ who drop kicked through the ropes. Edge went down. He ended up DDTing Rey as well. So everyone was down as we went to commercial break. Have you tried Blue Moon ice cream yet? I don't believe it. I don't even know if it's in this country. So no is the answer. I'd never heard of it until a few weeks ago. And I don't know that we have it here. I've said Man City need to get it at their grounds. This is like a SmackDown 6 era match. Sahil said, Days, I think people forgot that Sammy can't go to Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. He can't, can he? Well, unless they've changed their mind. Do you remember last time? I think it was during Logan and Roman. The Saudi fans were chanting, we want Sammy. We want Sammy. Because he was in the bloodline at the time and he was red hot. And Roman responded, you don't deserve Sammy. That's what Roman said to the Saudi fans. So, to be honest, I mean, even if they allowed him to go, I don't think he would want to go. So, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know where this story has been reported. It'd be very interesting to know what they're saying about the fact that Sammy's not expected to be there. No Bray or QR codes on Friday the 12th, says Richards. Officer Clusternut said, I think it would be ridiculous if Roman got his hands on the new belts. He has enough and he barely fights. Anyway, his storyline is now sour and boring. Diana said, Saudi Arabia Syria relationship have to be resolved about a month ago. Syria, I don't know why I'm saying Syria. Syria and Saudi Arabia president have met a week ago. BBB Yipsy said, Days, go watch White Knights to see how good Mikhail Baryshnikov is. He starred with Gregory Hines in a movie in 1985. I mean, honestly, top 10 things I'm definitely not going to do. I would say that's probably at number 8. Alfie said, I've not even watched the show tonight. Well, Alfie, it's only been on for 11 minutes. This is the one night I'm here for anything but that. I'm also tired and happy. I'm having a pot noodle. It's funny because never in the history of mankind has anyone been happy whilst eating a pot noodle. Normally, you've got to be in a pit of depression in order to reach for a pot noodle. So, shout out to you, Alfie. Shout out to you. Bucking the trend. Good. You might be the face of pot noodles going forward. If you can eat a pot noodle with a smile on your face, you can do anything. Yeah. Spear by Edge as AJ and Rey crash to the outsides. Kojiko with another message that's been deleted. Delete. Kojiko trying to, I would imagine that was probably Kojiko explaining why he keeps banging on about Michael Jackson. And William Hence is like, nope. Deletes. Now that he's off the show, I do miss having what Bray brings with all the cryptic stuff. It's a first timer. It's a first timer. Yeah, I mean, I think Bray is obviously a very interesting conversation because he is someone that pushes the envelope, and there's not really many others that are doing that. So he definitely brings something unique. At times, I think it can stray into silliness. At times, I think it can be nonsensical. But there is a lot of his content that you can really explore and dig into and theorize over and sparks conversation. And it's just, it's got such a fan base. People really do enjoy it. But it's very interesting. I mean, I don't know where the consensus is at the moment when it comes to Bray. I feel like people want him to succeed. And I think people love The Fiend and the Funhouse and all of that. And I think we was heading in that direction, but I don't know that people are on board with Howdy. I don't know that Howdy's grabbed people. So it's but yeah, I mean, look, Bray's name gets mentioned quite a bit, so it's quite clear people want him back, So let's see what he comes back with. Because the annoying thing is, I think we were in a really good place when he went. We started getting Funhouse episodes, and that Funhouse was awesome. It's one of the best Funhouse episodes I've ever seen. The one where who opened the door. Because there was loads of little bits, loads of stuff that you could read into. Ray, I tell you, this is a spot fest. This is. I mean, Edge goes against the wrong ropes. He ends up having to go over to the other rope so that Ray can do 619. But both Edge and AJ drop kick. We've seen action on the outside of the ring with suicide dives and everything. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that AJ and Edge did not just get 619, because to see Edge go over to the one set of ropes and have to kind of bounce off them to get into a better position was a bit fake and phony. So I really do appreciate the fact that he then didn't take that 619. And instead, it was a little trap. He was playing possum. Against the ropes goes Ray. Duck underneath. Drop kick by Ray. AJ goes down. Ray against the ropes. Big boot there by Edge as Ray goes down. AJ charges over, goes into the middle turnbuckle. So everyone's down at the moment. Edge is on the outside of the ring. He's trying to shimmy over to the corner. It looks like he's saying a few words to AJ. Edge trying to get back up to his feet. I heard Joe Biden was trying to be a WWE referee. Let's go. Yes, I can't see why not. Forearm strike. Do you remember when they had the Obama impersonator? That was pretty fun, wasn't it? Was it Capital Punishment? So we've got AJ with a sit-down powerbomb to Ray. And kick out there by Ray. I really thought Edge was going to do something from behind. I don't know where Edge has gone. I'm really not sure about this match. Crowd are a little bit like they're not chanting "This is awesome" or shot coming in by AJ. It's quite civilized, isn't it? Kind of sat here and everyone's just sort of watching it, and it's all sort of just happening. Right now, we got all three people in the corner. So Ray flips over. He powerbombs AJ. AJ suplexes Edge. Ray goes for the pin. Kick out by AJ. It's good to see Edge in action, though. I mean, it's not often we see Edge competing on in a match on a TV show. Ray with a drop kick as Edge goes against the ropes. Is in position for the 619. Ray goes against the ropes, but gets tripped over by AJ Styles. Days, it's Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday. What? Days, it's Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. What? Is that part of the song? Oh, I do love that seated sent on that Ray does. Edge grabs Ray. He steps through. Oh, look at that. Educator applied. Edge is looking over at AJ. Is Ray going to tap? AJ is sneaking over. I tell you what, if Ray had... That would have been so good if Ray had tapped. He applies it again. Look at that. Educator applied, and AJ looks like he might tap. He's trying to get over to the ropes. I like this. This bit's good. I like Edge trying to get educators on both competitors. Oh, 619 connects. 619 connects by Ray. Ray going up top. Ray. Oh, I don't know what that was. It was botched. Whatever that was. Phenomenal forearm by AJ. 1, 2, 3. Ah, such a shame that little spot just didn't go to plan. But it is a phenomenal forearm by AJ Styles. So, Wade said, I think Edge attempted a desperation spear. I don't think he did. I don't know that he attempted anything, to be honest. I think what it looks like on replay is Ray jumped off the corner, landed on Edge, and Edge didn't know it was happening. Now we've got a black screen. Oh, God, they've got more technical troubles than me. Right, Edge has won. He progresses. Wade is great. Yeah. Oh, I think he tried a spear. I don't think he did, Wade, but good cover. Right, triple threats coming up later. Okay, so AJ beats Edge and Ray. Good win that is for AJ, if you think about it. It's just beating 2 Hall of Famers. Alfie said, as Freddie said, don't stop me now. I'm snacking on some noodles. Got my pay. Got work Monday. What a feeling. Probably high off tiredness. Definitely seem high off tiredness, buds. Don't Stop Me Now makes me think of the Queen song, but I don't remember the line, I'm snacking on some noodles. Don't stop me now, I'm snacking on some noodles. I'm having some pay. I don't remember those lyrics. Would be a better song in all fairness. Svarta Brander said Seth versus AJ at Knock. Second pick, Seth versus Sheamus. Svarta Brander, shout out to you. Yeah, I think there's a lot of love for AJ. There's a lot of hope that AJ's going to go. My only question would be, are we going to do face versus face? Are we going to do Seth versus AJ? Are we? Right, we're just seeing a recap here of Backlash. Maybe we are. Retribution said, it's a famous song by Riton X Nightcrawlers called Friday. It's a proper club dance number. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I have to excuse me because it's been a hot minute since I've been in a club. Last time I was in a club, disco was still in fashion. So I'm not as clued up as I used to be. What's it called? I've heard of night crawlers. I've never heard of Riton X. I don't know what that is. Listen, there's only one song called Friday. Any other song called Friday is a flipping embarrassment compared to Friday, Friday, coming on down, it's Friday, party and yeah, streaming, I'm streaming, yeah. That's the real Friday song. That's what you should be quoting, disgrace. Have a word with yourself. Jalen said, if you think about it, Solo is the new right-hand man. He acts similar to how Jay did back in 2020 with Roman. He's the one who's mainly by Roman's sides. Yep, I agree. Godfather So said, called it. Right, we're backstage with the Usos. Jay has got some resistance bands. He's having a bit of a stretch and a flex. Bit of a pump. He's having a pump. Right, next up, Sheamus. So I think we're going straight to our next triple threats. Sheamus versus Bibbs versus Theory. Let's go. Right, no. Who won? Edge. AJ. AJ won. AJ Smiles. That's the name of my new children's entertainer company. If you've got a kid that loves wrestling and you're having a party, why not book AJ Smiles? I come round dressed as a wrestler, whichever one you want. And we do quizzes and face painting. Oh, it's a great day. It's a great day. Kian said, Days, what do you think about Randy if you had any reports on his return? And do you think he'll go after Roman for what he did to him, which is put him on the shelf for a year? What are your thoughts? Well, Randy was trending earlier, and I tried to see why he was. I think that's something Twitter could do a better job of, to be honest, is if something's trending, like say why. They do normally put a little thing underneath, but this didn't have one. It just said Randy. And when I clicked on it, there's so many different conversations about Randy. I couldn't see the one that got it trending. So there could be some news, but I have not seen it. I couldn't find it. Just seemed like a load of people were talking about Randy. So, yeah, there could be some movement on that. In fact, let me just have a quick scoot. I'll have a look at Wrestling Observer now. SmackDown live results. Tony Deppen to undergo surgery for broken arm. CM Punk AJ Mendez set for Heels Season 2. Oh. That's interesting. But Hangman Page returning at House Rules events. Ospreay set for Rev Pro. There's nothing here about Randy on Wrestling Observer. Yeah, so I don't know when he's coming back. I think when he does come back, he's been out for so long. It will have been over 12 months that I don't think you put him in a program with Roman. I think that's a bit much. I think you're going to need to ease him back into it, to be honest. Unless you can really do some work behind the scenes and really, get him up to speeds. It's a match I'd like to see. It's a match I'd like, but at his age, to get into a ring after being away for so long and for it to be main event and against Roman and all that kind of stuff. It is the match we were meant to get at SummerSlam last year. And obviously the injury meant we had to do the Brock match, which was crazy because we got the ring being tipped over. And to be honest, I see that as the pinnacle of Roman's title reign. I think his match at SummerSlam last year, for me, is the pinnacle. Yeah, the whole Bloodline story, but I'm talking about, moments. Maybe the bit where Sammy turns on him, you can make the argument for that. You can make the argument that when Sammy turns on him, or maybe you could make the argument of Roman beating Cody at WrestleMania, but I really would make the argument of him and Brock at SummerSlam, because I think that match visually, there's nothing else like it. What other match are you going to watch where someone drives a tractor down to the ring, tips the ring over, and, you know, the person in the ring tumbles out of it? Like, the closest thing you could get to that is the suplex from the top where the ring collapsed. But I mean, this was so much more, so visually, so much more stunning. There really is next to nothing that you can compare. I don't think there is anything you can compare it to, apart from the ring being breaking after the suplex from the top. Is it Big Show and Brock when the ring broke? I just think it was such a visual spectacular. It's just a big fun mess of a match that for me that really does stand out. Of all of his title defenses, that one I just think really is such a, oh my god, it's one of them. Did you see that? I mean, it is proper OMG. Did you see that match type moment? You know, he's had a lot of good matches, but that was a did you see that match type moment? But we were meant to get Randy at that event, and it would have been Randy Roman had Randy have not got injured. So, yeah, I'd be down for seeing it. I'd love to see it, but I just don't know that we can get him back and straight into that. It might be that he has to come back, do some tag matches, and ease his way back in first. The only thing I think is like, well, you know, Brock was able to do it. Undertaker was able to do it. Undertaker would come back once a year and have a big match at WrestleMania. Brock would come in and have a big match, you know? So it is possible. But Bibbs, yeah, Bibbs in the ring. We're just waiting for Theory to come down right now. I'm going to start a farm in inspiration of Brock. He's made me into that hot stud farmer that I am now, says Alfie. Okay. I mean, I must admit, Alfie, I don't quite think hot stud farmer when I think of you, but I don't know. We can work on that. Here's Theory making his way down, the youngest United States champion in WWE history. Signature move, the A-Town down. The United States champ making his way down. Oh, that dude with is that Trinidad and Tobago? I see him all the time. He's like an unsung green shirt guy. Seen him loads of events. He goes to, he might go to all of them. It's just that only sometimes he gets to be in like the front row. I've seen him in the entranceway. I've seen him in the front row. I think he always tries to be around that area. But yeah, it's the dude holding up the Trinidad and Tobago flag. Unsung hero of the IWC. Right, we're underway with that. Second, Theory jumps out the ring. You go after. But Sheamus and Bibbs go after him. So Theory tries to get back in. They grab him. Now they're pounding away. Kicks coming in. Theory being beaten up on the outsides. Sheamus and Bibbs working together. Bibbs charging over, collides into Theory. Neckbreaker. Down goes Theory. Sheamus against the ropes. Drops a knee. Onto Austin Theory. He's got him up. Rolling senton by Sheamus. And a clothesline over the top to the outside. So far, we've just beaten up Austin Theory. You love to see it. Alfie said, please make a Wrestling Days farm. I don't know that I've got time for that, bud. Not with all the streaming and everything. Upon the shoulders, Bibbs, grab it. Planting Sheamus face first. If I do, I'll let you know, and you can come and be one of the cows. In the corner goes Bibbs. Back elbow by Bibbs as well. Unload him. Israel says, green shirt guy. R.I.P. green shirt guy. Days, WWE has so many big names pushing over 40. Styles, Edge, Mysterio, Lashley, Brock, Sheamus, Balor, Shinsuke. NXT is preparing their future, but feels we should have more big stars under 31. Spawn count. I don't know, to be honest. I think we're living in a world where I think in most sports we're seeing people stick around longer than traditionally we would, because I think there's been a real understanding now of nutrition, of like looking after yourself, yoga, DDP yoga, stretching and also, healthy living. I mean, don't forget back in the day, people were popping drugs like they were Skittles. Steroids and uppers, downers, going out for like benders. I mean, wrestlers were not living healthy lifestyles, hence why most have sadly passed before they should have. Big clubbing blows coming in by Sheamus. But I think what we're seeing now is a better understanding of nutrition and looking after yourself. And we're seeing that across all sports. And so we're seeing people just compete into later years. And so, I don't know. I mean, like really where, you would have seen people have their careers in their 30s and end in their early 40s, maybe we're seeing people now go into their mid 40s, Perhaps there isn't a pressing need to go and get like 20-year-olds or anything. I mean, if you're in your 20s, God, you might as well just stay in NXT. Because by the time you come up to the main roster, if you come up to the main roster when you're 30, I mean, now you could easily have a good 15, 16-year career. Which, I mean, might not sound like long, but if you think Hogan won the title in 84, if he was to have a 16-year run on the main roster, that would have took him to the year 2000. So that, which, you could argue was the majority of his career, going through Hulkamania in the 80s and then WCW in the 90s. I understand he came back and had a little run, he came back and obviously had that historic match with The Rock and had a little run in WWE, but, I don't think that did much for his legacy. I think, if that hadn't have happened, his career was pretty much done. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a problem in this day and age. I think if you're in your 30s now, you can compete until your mid 40s quite comfortably. I overheard Roman will be a champ until 2024. Thoughts? Roman champ till 2024. Don't mind. The only thing I would say is, in my mind, I've got it that Cody's going to win against him at SummerSlam, right? But I've had things in my mind before that have not come true. I had it in my mind we were going to get Roman Rock at WrestleMania, and that didn't come true. Had it in my mind that Cody would beat him at WrestleMania this year, and that didn't come true. So I have quite a few things in my mind that don't come true, unfortunately. But I've got it in my mind that it'll be Cody Roman at SummerSlam. If it turns out that it is that, but Roman wins again, or it turns out not to be that, then yeah, I mean, we could find ourselves getting into 2024. I mean, in all fairness, a couple of weeks' time, we're halfway through this year. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's 6 months. SummerSlam's going to be the biggest show left this year. I mean, Survivor Series, it might be another War Games thing where Roman doesn't defend. There wasn't a pay-per-view at the end of last year, so there might not be anything in December. So if he doesn't defend in November and there's no pay-per-view in December, you've got SummerSlam, and then really what else have you got? He's going to have to worry about the money in the bank and the cash in. He's going to have to worry about that. But really, yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point where, yeah, I mean, honestly, if he ain't going to lose it at SummerSlam, yeah, I think we could be going to 2024. I've said there's maybe an argument for doing that as well, because like if you can do Roman Rock next year, if they have got The Rock for next year's WrestleMania, which is WrestleMania 40, so it's a massive show, then you probably want Roman to still have the belt and be undefeated. You probably want this Roman, this version of Roman for that match. So, yes, hence why you would probably bring in a new world title, because you know that Roman ain't losing his anytime soon. There'll be a lot of people that would be down on it. A lot of people that would be like, no, I don't want that. But, I don't know. I mean, look, we're seeing history. I mean, we're at the point where this is one of the best title reigns I've ever seen. It might even be the best title reign I've ever seen. That's interesting. Is it the best title reign I've ever seen? There's been some really, really great title reigns. I enjoyed CM Punk winning his. I enjoyed John Cena and his US Open challenges. I thought they were brilliant. I must admit there wasn't many, I can't say there was many at the end of the 90s that I was crazy into. Yeah, it's got to be it. I'm really struggling to think of one that I prefer. It's certainly, I think, the most historic. I think we've gone past Gunther's NXT UK reign. Sure, that was 800 and some days, so I think we've gone past that. So, I think we can all agree that this is somewhat special. So, I think it's got to end the right way. And if they feel that they can still get, say, him and The Rock out of it, I'm not against that. We are back. We was at commercial break. The Beach said, why won't you tell us when R-Truth is returning? Why won't you? Why are you keeping this a secret? We know that you know the answer. What are you hiding from us? Well, he tore his quad, didn't he, down in NXT in a match against Grayson Waller. So he is still on the shelf, I believe. Torn quad takes a while, sadly, to recover from. We'll have a look, though, see if there is any news on him. Sheamus just stopping Theory. Shoulder tackles by Austin Theory. Here we go. R-Truth provides updates. R-Truth won't be out of the ring for too much longer. He suffered an injury on November 1st. The injury occurred as he tried to do a dive. With no timeline given, Meltzer noted he would likely be out for a long time. Talking on Twitter this week, the champ shared a photo of himself in the gym. Someone asked back in April, when are you coming back? And R-Truth responded, soon. That was a month ago as well. Typically, a torn quad can take 6 to 8 months, but it can also take a full year to fully heal. I'll be back. I want to thank you. Without you, there ain't no me. So let me go ahead and handle this business, and I'll be back before you know it. So that's the latest. That was a month ago. He says he'll be back soon. That was a month ago. He's already in the gym. And he's on the way. So that's what I know. The Beach Kevin, that is what I know. WWE Gareth, yeah! The legends! The hero! AEW will fail. There he is. There he is. Missed you, WWE Gareth. Right, Sheamus, looking for white noise on Theory. Connects. Sheamus looking for the cover. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Sheamus hobbling around. Jessica Carr, the referee for this one. Shaq Lee, shout out to you. I'm crying. They have cut the show off in Kansas. Why have they done that? What do you mean? What, have they gone to some sort of sports game instead? In Kansas? Oh, Shaq Lee, shout out to you, buds. Anyone else in Kansas? Is it back Shaq? Is it a momentary thing to go to like some news or something? Or have they just gone, nah, nah, don't fancy it this week? Right now, Sheamus pointing out at the crowds. So far, 40-odd minutes in, we've had 2 matches. This is our second match, triple threat. Spear by Bibbs. Bibbs, Spears. Sheamus, he gets thrown. Theory trying to steal it. 1, 2. Oh, shoulder up by Sheamus. Steve says, I'm in Scotland. I'm sorry to hear that, buds. Rossville says, WWE right now has more upside to it than AEW. Impact Wrestling is more exciting than AEW. Impact Wrestling is more exciting than AEW. Bibbs, planting theory. 40 minutes, we've had 5 minutes of wrestling. Oh no, we've had loads of wrestling. Been 2 matches. There hasn't been any. Normally, I would agree, but no, we pretty much went straight to a match, haven't we? Brogue. Sheamus gets thrown to the outside. Here's Bibbs. 2, 3. Oh, Bibbs is busted as well. Bibbs is busted. The Crimson Mask. The Almighty picks up the win. Oof. Yeah, man, he's been busted. So it's going to be AJ, Bobby. So we're down to either Seth, AJ, or Bobby. One of those is going to be the new heavyweight champion. Bibbs. Go on, Bibbs. Go on, Bibbidi Bob. Roman Reigns returns. Listen, what are they going to do? Are they going to do... now we can do a poll. Alfie said, I think I caught the bugger saying WWE will fail on another stream. Is there a UFC will fail? Is there an Impact will fail? Just think of all the possibilities. I love WWE Gareth. I love WWE Gareth because he's got a message, innit? He's got a message. And he wants it to be heard. And I love that commitment. God bless him. He has been put on this earth for one reason and one reason only, and that is to spread the news that AEW will fail. That is it. And I would be just as supportive if there was a WWE will fail, right? Same thing, same energy. Yeah, God bless you. You've got a message. You want to get that message out there. God bless you. Right, who faces Seth? Who faces Seth? Who faces Seth? Is it going to be Bibbidi Bob? I better just put Bobby, hadn't I? Because there might be people that don't know we call him Bib. Bib or AJ? Boom. Days DM'd me. You timed out James. He is going to no one times out James. He will murder you. He will hunt you down in your sleep. Rest of Andy said WCW will fail. Listen, I'm not here for that kind of negativity. WCW will fail. Failure will WWE Gareth, says Kyle. Dane said, Days, how many gazillion times will we see the Usos against the New Day? Was it a great tag team rivals? What was your favorite Usos New Day match? It's a good question. We did see it a gazillion times. I think there's a reason for it, though, because I think undeniably they are the 2 teams of this generation. And so it'd be weird to not see it as many times. I suppose in a way it would be cool if they'd only faced... It would be cool if they'd only faced a couple of times. And it was like 1-1 and we needed the rubber match, you know? Then that would feel massive. New Day and Usos just doesn't feel that big now. because we have seen it so much. My favorite would be the one they did inside Hell in a Cell, which I believe was Big E and Xavier against the Usos, and I think Kofi was on the outside. I think he was locked outside of the cell. I just remember that being. I mean, not only are they just great, like fast-paced wrestlers, but I mean, you've got the weapons that were being involved. There were some good spots as well. I seem to remember, I think, was it Xavier that was trapped in the corner with a kendo stick, like put through the thing? And I think that was like one of the first times I'd seen that. And it meant they could double team on Big E. But I mean, it was just such an entertaining match that had so many different kind of angles to it. What with Kofi being locked out as well, that one kind of comes to mind. But they've had a few bangers actually over the years. But as you said, maybe they did just face a few too many times. Vince should restart WCW and try to go against Triple H. AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, semi-final. So, who are you voting for? We've had 190 votes. Do you think it's going to be face AJ against face Seth? Or is it going to be Bobby? Don't know. It's a hot topic as to whether he's a face or a heel. Against Seth. Grayson, what? Let's go. It was a bit late. Grayson Waller effect next week. Grayson Waller effect next week. I could get used to Fridays. Wade Barrett says Grayson Waller on a microphone is the stuff of nightmares. Grayson Waller is here, man. So excited. Grayson Waller is what LA Knight wishes he was. Grayson Waller is LA Knight's idol. Grayson Waller is LA Knight's spirit animal. Grayson Waller is LA Knight's mentor. I might tweet that out just to upset some people. He's supposed to be based in the character of a hotel manager from White Lotus. Aren't we all? Kian said, Days, imagine Bobby gets attacked by Drew, then Drew replaces Bobby against AJ tonight, and if he beats AJ... Here, hang on. You lost me. Too long. I've only got the attention span of a goldfish. Cameron Grimes against the last pick in the draft. Cameron Grimes. In about 2 minutes. You'll be flat on your back wishing that you was back in NXT. Bang! You did that down in NXT. 1, 2, 3, and a quick win. So Cameron Grimes wins with a squash, and he gets the double stomp. So Baron Corbin said, you'll be wishing you was back in NXT. Cameron Grimes getting a squash win over Baron Corbin with that double stomp. He did that down in NXT in one of his very first matches. Well, there we go. To the moon. Right. Kian said, imagine Bobby gets attacked by Drew. Okay. Yep. Then Drew replaces Bobby against AJ tonight. Why would we do that? He's attacked Bobby, so why would we reward him by putting him in that match? Why would we do that? If I was Adam Pearce, he's the last person I'd put in that match against AJ. And if he beats AJ, he turns heel on AJ. And if that's how we get heel Drew versus Seth, thoughts if they do that? I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it because, that's someone getting into a final that didn't even compete in a triple threat. I hate when they do that. Why would we reward him by putting him in that final because he took out one of the competitors? I think you can get to heel Drew quite a few ways. And I think heel Drew against Seth, you could do that like as a proper feud. I don't think we necessarily need to try and fit it into this story. So not the way I would go, but WWE quite often go in directions I wouldn't go, so I certainly wouldn't rule it out, bud. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Night of Champions, official, confirmed, no fight pit or any stipulations at the moment. What we got now? Roman! Oh! Throw up the ones! Throw up the ones! Let's get acknowledging. Let's get acknowledging. Here he comes. The tribal chief. Roman. Right, there's the ones. There's the ones. Usos, Heyman, Solo, Roman, Universal, WWE. Bloodline. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. The tribal scumbag says... don't let him see it. Don't say that. Jeez, if he is, you're saying that, mate, you're in big trouble. Jim, honestly, if he asks me who said that, I ain't protecting you. I'll be like that. Right, Roman making his way out. I wasn't expecting Roman to take us from hour 1 into hour 2, but it's a great way to make sure you don't change the channel. Unless you're in Kansas. And then you don't have much choice. Because they've turned it off. Holding up my middle finger to the TV screen with the one. Oh, Denise not happy. Denise not happy. Boo Roman. Andrew NG34 said boo Roman. Legend Killer, shout out to you. Kansas doesn't get your 2. Let's get acknowledging. How's your night? It's good. It's good. It's interesting. Look at the reaction from the community now that Roman's come out. He's the paper chief, says Kian. Rotem said, days after his hit song, Booker T, Bad Bunny released a song, Batista. It goes, I twerk alone inside this pit of danger. Oh, that's probably true. I don't even know if you're telling the truth, but it's probably true. Probably true. I have no idea if what you're telling me is actually a song that has actually been released, but there right now is not a single part of me that doubts that is not an actual thing that's happened. Do you think Roman will be at Money in the Bank, says Wrestle with Andy. Wow, I feel like you've kind of got to have him there because... I mean, that's part of the fun, isn't it? Someone wins the briefcase, they might cash in there and then that night. If the champ's not there, it can't happen. So I sort of feel like he's got to be there. But, and listen, it's Money in the Bank as well. Like, I know it's a decent flight, but grow up. Do you know what I mean? Come on, grow up. Yes, all right, it's several hours on a plane, but, oh, God, do you know what I mean? Take a pack of cards, buy yourself an AEW box set or something. I don't know. The time will soon go by. So, do I think he'll be there? I honestly don't know. I mean, we know that they don't always come over for the UK shows. Sometimes, the Raws and the Smackdowns that we've had in the past can feel a little bit lacking. But I don't think it's unfair to say that the Raws, the Smackdowns in the past would have been those episodes that Roman was not around, the ones that came from the UK. But it was a Clash at the Castle, although that was 60-odd thousand people, so good luck trying to do that show without the flipping WWE Universal Championship. But yeah, Money in the Bank's different in it because really the appeal of that is the ladder matches. A bit like the Rumble. The appeal of the Rumble is the Rumbles. Don't really need Roman at the Royal Rumble. Don't really need Roman at Money in the Bank because that's not the focus. So I don't know. I'm a bit split on it. I think he should be there though. Don't know if he is there, but I think he should be there. Mitchell said, if you're going to tweet about how great Grayson Waller is, tag me in it. I'm all in on Grayson. Grayson has shot up on my favorites. Team Grayson, says Mitchell. That's you and me at the moment, Mitchell. You and me are Team Grayson. Grayson stands. Yeah, I agree. He's gone up. I think the little feud that he had with Sean, that was really good. Some of the work he was doing on the microphone and everything, that was really good. And then, he had his match with Johnny. There was a little feud with Carmelo. Like some of the stuff he's done in recent months, it's been just, I don't know, it's felt like a step up. I think he's going to be great on the main roster as well. So charismatic. Svalta Brander said, I would book LA to replace Bobby tonight. Bronson taking out Bobby. LA versus AJ main event for tonight. Svalta Brander wants to get LA Knight involved. William said, Days 999 is the SmackDown before the pay-per-view. Oh. Is it really? So that means 1,000 days is Night of Champions. Oh, God, that's mental. 1,000 days is actually the night of Champions. You couldn't write that any better if that's true. 999 is SmackDown, so that must mean that the Night of Champions is the 1,000 days. Whew. That's not fake news. That's amazing if that's true. That's amazing if that's true. And you always have to say if that's true when it's William, because you never know. That is true. I never doubted it. I never doubted it, guys. A lot of you were doubting it because William had said it. And I said, don't be so disrespectful. What William says goes. Right, here's Roman. Here we go. Acknowledge me. There's a few cheers. There's a few ones. There's quite a few ones, but there's certainly some boos as well. Big segment. Feels like a big segment. Do you know why? Because it is a big segment. It's a sign that says Rob Solo with Sokoa crossed out. I don't even know what that means. Who's Rob Solo? And Roman. And they're back with him. We've got tribal beef with the tribal chief. Okay, let's go. What's he going to say? This is one thing that must be respected. There's only one. Every man in this ring. That's a good point. Every man in this ring. But Solo didn't. Every man in this ring main evented both nights of WrestleMania. You got Solo and Paul Heyman going, did we? Did we? Did you? I don't remember doing that. Yeah, he's happy about the win at Backlash. Solo stepped up. Roman's coming round to Solo. I gotta tell you. What are you going to tell us? There was a bit of concern. He said there was some concern when we called up Solo. So sink or swim for Solo, and he swims like a shark. Solo. Sammy Chance. Sammy. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, Solo. Don't get worked up about them. Don't worry about it. Sammy and Kevin aren't a problem. There's an actual problem, but it's not them. It's the Usos. Oh, the problem is your brothers. Oh, God, it's happening. Oh, it's happening. Oh, God, I don't know what to do. Let's go. Let's go. What's the problem? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on, we're all friends. What's the problem? Did you think you was just going to lose in the main event of WrestleMania and we wouldn't talk about it? Is that what you thought? Idiots. Oh, God. Lose in main. You dedicate a match to me and then you lose. I'm not in a tag team. Why are you dedicating a tag team win to? I'm not even in a tag team. Yeah, idiots. Do you know, it makes a good point. You embarrass me. I love the idea he's upset they dedicated a tag match to him and he's not in a tag team. I love that that's got under his skin. It's such a nothing point. And then losing that match, I can understand that upsetting him. But you dedicate a tag match to me. I'm not in a tag team. He wants an apology. He wants an apology. I don't want to see anything come out of your mouth unless it's I'm sorry. Getting told off. Say you're sorry. Like good boys. Go on. Are you laughing? Jimmy's got a little smile on his face. No. Crowd are chanting no. Crowd are chanting no. Don't apologize. If I was you, I wouldn't listen to these idiots. Ah, this has turned into a good segment, hasn't it? I'm a clown. Whoa, he pushes him. He pushes him. I'm a clown now. Oh, he ain't smiling now. He ain't smiling now. Jimmy was... Oh, I really like that. I really like how he was smiling before and he ain't smiling now. Because it felt a little bit like he was... Not corpsing, but like maybe not taking it that serious, this segment. He's taking it serious now. He just got pushed and he's not happy about it. Man, this is where... Ooh. Jimmy just stepped up to Roman. Jay steps in the way. We apologize, Zeus. Give us one more shot. Roman pushes Jimmy. Fill him in. Thank you, my tribal chief. Here's Heyman. Eating good here. Like you can all... It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Okay, so I'm guessing they're going to announce that Roman solo match. So Sammy's going? He is going? I mean, that's mental. So Heyman announces Solo and Roman. And the Usos are not happy about it. Nice. I like that little touch at the end. He says he's going to dedicate it to the greatest tag team of all time. Looks at the Usos, but says Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans. WWE's predictable, said Corvid. Sammy and Saudi. Sammy and Saudi. Great segment. Great segment. I mean, so much to unpack there, isn't there? So much to unpack. Guess Raw is going to get new tag belts too, says Corvids. Shouldn't Roman be defending his title? This is dumb, said Scott. He really should be defending his title. And certainly, like, considering how excited the fans are about the 1,000 days, we're not even focusing on this title. Like, we're focusing on the tag belts. It is. Okay. We've got Io, Dakota, Bailey. I've put the blame on myself. I pushed you way too hard. And I don't think you're ready yet. Yeah, look at Io. Kayla, go tell Roman that SmackDown belongs to Damage Control. She ain't going to pass that message on. So Bailey said, I blame myself. I've been pushing you way too hard. I just don't think you're ready yet. Oh, that's going to go down really well. Right, here is Liv. Io turning, or they're turning on Io, says Hagen Daz. Here's Raquel Rodriguez. Great. I really enjoyed that Bloodline segment. There's moments where I felt it was kind of not falling apart, but like when you've got Jimmy not taking it serious, and you're like, oh, well, that was pretty fun for the Usi bit, but like, this really feels like it needs the right responses to really hammer home like this bit, you know? And then he pushes him and Jimmy's demeanor just changes. You go, oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. That's good. That's good. But I do agree with the fact that Roman really should be defending his title at Night of Champions. But from a storyline point of view, him not thinking the Usos can be trusted to get the job done, him going after the tag titles instead. I wonder how that's going to play out. I wonder if they are going to win them. Is Roman going to beat Sammy again? Oh, God, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I don't want to see that again. Why can't they just let Sammy be happy? Sammy only said on Flipping Monday as well, he's like, we're done with the bloodline. Why is this not going into capitals? It will not let me put Bailey in capitals. There we go. Bailey and Dakota. Let's go. Roman 4 belts. Yeah, Solo doesn't get a belt. Man. Oh, man. I like Raquel and Liv with matching gear, says Liam. Yes, I did see the design for Liv's gear tonight doing the rounds on Twitter. I don't know, is it a little nod to Hana Kimura? Because she had those kind of furry boots, didn't she? And I saw there was a tribute show on Fight for Hana Kimura, which makes me wonder if it's like an anniversary, maybe? That's what it makes me think. I want to just make a note of this. When Bailey said, I blame myself, pushed you, and you're not ready. Boom. Now we've got Liv and Raquel, Raki, taking on Damage Control. We got the power. We got the pain. Inside the rage. Inside the cage. Right. Days. Roman would have 4. These, the Raw and SmackDown titles and the Universal and Worlds. Well, he could have all of them. He could give none to. So how many would he have then? 1, 2, 3, 4. He'd have 6. Because I don't think Solo really cares about having like belts and all that. He just loves to fight. So could you imagine if Roman had? I don't know. How would he carry him? How would he? He'd have to have 1 around his waist. He'd have to have the 2 SmackDown on these. shoulder. He'd have to have the 2 Raw on this one. And then he'd have to have Heyman walking behind with like the Universal or something. He could be Roman 6 belts. We could put 6 belts on one man. One man could walk to the ring with 6 belts. I want to see that. I want to see that. I love Sammy, but I want him to lose now. And I want Solo to just, walk in the background, doing all this. But he doesn't need to have, he doesn't need to be carrying titles. It's just hassle, innit? If you're a proper street fighter, you got to be ready whenever. You got to be, free. Someone could attack you at any time. You got to always be ready. You can't be ready to throw down with a big belt and another one here. Put them all on Roman. Imagine that Mattel figure. Woo! Gonna have to be a super ultimate edition. Salami said, I thought Dudleys are the greatest tag champs because they were the only team that won the WWF, the WCW, and the ECW. They're in the conversation. I think for me, the Road Warriors are the team I think of when I think of like the greatest tag team. But I don't mind the Wild Samoans being mentioned. I love that spotlight being shown on anything pre-WrestleMania 1. If it happened before WrestleMania 1, I'm interested. Because shining a light into that world can be very difficult because there's just not that much footage. I think there is, but just, I don't know, it's not easy to get your hands on. Even on the network, there's not loads of like pre-WrestleMania 1, which was, 85? So, anything that shines a light on, Wild Samoans, Rocky Johnson, Bruno, Pedro, Bob Backlund, Superstar Billy Graham, any of that kind of stuff. I'll eat it up, baby. Right, we're just breaking down Backlash. Days, Heyman has to carry all the belts like a pack mule. Yeah. Imagine Roman and Solo coming out, and then in the background you got Heyman just drowning in championships, and he's like dragging a couple, and he's trying to get like his... Yeah, I want to see that now. Guys, it turns out there's actually a lot of fun we can have if we do put all these belts onto Roman. I want to see Heyman, like, and they're falling down and everything. Ah. Okay, we're backstage with Usos. How about kick you in the face? Got the Usos confronting LWO. Right, here's Damage Control. Stephen said, thanks to the stream screens from Germany. Shout out to Germany. Stephen, hope you are well, my friends. Appreciate the support, buds, and hope you're enjoying SmackDown. Amazingly, we've only got, 39 minutes left to go, so sadly not loads of time left, and we've got a very important match still to come. But yeah, fun. Couple of triple threats. Big Roman segment. And now we've got this women's title match. We got the power. We got the Raquel wearing glasses. I've only just noticed Raquel Rodriguez in shades. Was she wearing shades? So that's interesting by the champs in it. So I've only just noticed that. So Damage Control were posing. And rather than Liv and Raquel standing in the corner, they actually stood behind Damage Control in the ring and just held up the titles. And Raquel started to wear shades for some reason. I don't know. It's a very Are they going to keep these two together for a while then? Because they've got like new matching ring gear. They've got Raquel started to wear shades. Oh, there's Isla and Alba watching them. Well, Sammy will be at the pay-per-view. Apparently so, unless there's going to be something that happens to rule him out. Dakota wallops Liv, stuns Liv. I like that. Forearm strike. Liv actually sits down and takes a moment to sell that. That's good. That was good. I like that from Liv. I like that from Liv, where she just took that moment to just sell. Round the back, roll up, kick out by Bayley. Liv goes into the corner. She goes over the top, gets grabbed by Dakota. In between Dakota's legs, duck underneath, clothesline. Down she goes. Days, with Night of Champions coming up, what would you say is your favorite Night of Champions? Mine would have to be the one in 2010. Oh, mate, I'd have to go back and look at all the match cards, because trying to remember like all the various Night of Champions. I don't think we've had one since 2015. I think I saw 2015 was the last we had, which amazingly is before this channel even existed. That means we have never done a watch-along for Night of Champions, unless we've done a retro one, but I don't think we've even done a retro one. So, yeah, I mean, like, this must have been something that really resonated with Triple A. He must have been, like, gutted when this took off the schedule, because it's one of the first things he's brought back. I miss Sammy making humorous moments towards the bloodline. Yeah. As the Usos can't stop laughing in the segments, including Sammy in the bloodline. AB Jobson said no revealing ring gear on Bayley tonight. Do you think it was a rib? I don't think it was a rib. I mean, I read it as they were in Puerto Rico. I believe that to be hot. There was lots of imagery of the beach and, the lovely weather and everything. So I just took it that it was hot, They were closer to the equator. She just had her hair up. She had her hair a little bit different as well. And I just thought that she just was trying to get a bit of air circulation going. So I don't know. I personally put it down to that. I'd be interested to know what the real reason was. But it's May 23rd. It'll be a third anniversary of Hana Kimura's death. Oh, May 23rd. It's a bit of a weird week to do it then. Maybe it's not that. Does feel, I mean, those boots, whenever I see that kind of a boot that's got that kind of fur on it, it makes me think Hana Kimura. But, well, I suppose it's close, in it. I mean, perhaps they're not going to be on the show next week, so this is their only chance. Don't know. If you think about it, Solo is the new right-hand man. He's got a similar role to Jey Uso back in 2020. He is the one who's mainly been by Roman's side, says Jalen. Stone said, I thought Meg 2 looks too much like Sharknado. Ian said, Days, I just saw that Roman looked at the new world title. I am shaking about it. I don't like that look of his when he did that. Thoughts? He ain't getting it. The whole point of this belt is to be on the brand opposite to Roman. So, he's not involved in the tournament for it. Whether he'll ever compete for it, I mean, he might do at some point, but I don't think he'll do that whilst he's champion. It's just not a consideration. I don't. It's not a problem. I don't see him getting anywhere near it. Rodriguez colliding into Dakota. Kojiko says, "Oh my God, nothing about Michael Jackson." That's what Kojiko says. Why is it in Spanish? Why is it in Spanish, Kojiko? It said most fish need water, breaking news, as a supply of oxygen to breathe. Weird that, isn't it? That's weird. Fish need water to get oxygen. Why don't they just flip in, get their head out the water then? Do you know, there's loads of it. Do you reckon if a fish ever put their head out of water, they'd be like, oh, bloody hell, look at it. Oh, my God, there's loads. Oh, this is lovely. John, check this out. Oh, this is what we've been looking for. Oh, if they think they've got it good in water, they'd be bubbling if they just stuck their head out. Fish drink water for oxygen supply. It's mental, innit? There's loads of it up here. It's all you can eat. Once you get your head out the water, it's all you can eat. It's like the greatest buffet they ever would have been to. Coach Co, loving that you've returned to the facts, buds. Shame they're in Spanish, but nothing against the Spanish. I just don't speak Spanish. But it does mean that little bit of extra work, but I know that you love to inconvenience me. Down goes Liv. But Days, I know this is a SmackDown stream, but could you ever see Kenny and the Bucks in WWE? I think they would want a Mania moment, says Greggy. Greggy, shout out to you. Could I see them in WWE? Yeah, I could see them in WWE. They're wrestlers. So, I could see them coming over to this company. I don't think it will happen personally. I could picture it. I think there'd have to be if there was a big fallout, and they felt they needed to leave, I could see it happening. But AEW looks like it's on the rise. It's growing. It's getting another show. They're doing Wembley shows themselves now, so. Oh, here, Io has grabbed a title. Io on the edge of the ring. Bayley collides into Io. Liv Morgan, 1, 2, 3. Liv pins Bayley. Io. Oh, they're all getting in each other's way now, aren't they? Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Bayley tried to help Io. It backfired, and now Io's tried to help Bayley, and it's all backfired again. Don't worry about it. Hey, don't worry about it, Sheamus. Yes, boy! Pretty Deadly are here. Yes, boy! Which one of you is pretty and which one is deadly? Anyway. Smackdown? Okay, so they're insulting Brawling Brutes. Sorry about that, Lars. Sorry about that, Lars. I'd love that to be a thing where they just go to people that have lost. Sorry about your loss. That would crack me up. Sorry about your loss. That needs to be a thing. Right, Pretty Deadly. I don't think it would go down well at a funeral. Oh, that'll be good. Program on Macho Man. Yeah. Dig it. Did you see the Usos turning on Roman and Solo at Night of Champions, says Macca Rice. Well, it does make you question what's going to happen, doesn't it? But don't think we've done enough. Don't think we've done enough for them to turn on them. This is a bitter pill to swallow right now. I think they definitely are going to feel disrespected, but I think we need to keep turning up the disrespect. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's a bit soon. I thought there was a good chance that Solo could turn on the Usos. But you see, the thing is, the Usos are going to be baby faces. So I don't think they can really turn on Roman until the disrespect has really been ramped up. Unless we are going to have KO and Sammy tied against the ropes, Roman in the ring, hands the chair to Jimmy or Jay, tells them to wallop Solo and to wallop Kevin and Sammy. Call back to what we got at Royal Rumble. Call back to what we got at was it Elimination Chamber? Elimination Chamber. And maybe they refuse, and maybe that could be the spot. But we've kind of already done that at Elimination Chamber, which was in Montreal, where we kind of echoed that. But I feel like you're going to need a high pressure situation like that. You're going to have to force the Usos to choose if you're going to want to get them to turn on Roman. I can't see them just come running down and just beating up Roman, I can't see them doing that. So at the moment, I'm going to say no, unless the disrespect is really ramped up, or you have to give them a very difficult choice. You have to make them choose, and they choose the right thing, and it's going to be emotion. Kojiko's message deleted by William. Yeah, Kojiko. It's hit and miss as to whether Kojiko's messages actually get through or not now. God bless him, and he keeps trying. God bless you, Kojiko. God bless you. William says Triple H was backed into a corner. Fire Roman or give in. He made his choice. Vince fixed it, but it works out. Roman has to work longer than he wanted, but gets time off. Days, where do you see Edge going now that he can't win the world title? Wow. That's a good question. Because I don't think he's going to win any title. I don't think he's going to win the Intercontinental. Well, actually, he could win the United States. Intercontinental's moved to Raw, hasn't it? So we might get his hand on the United States title. I can't see him getting the belt off Roman. Yeah. Shame. Good point. Because now he's stuck on SmackDown, the brand opposite to that world title. Yeah. It's going to have to be a feud, isn't it? It's going to have to be a feud. It's going to have to be a feud because, he ain't going to get the belt off Roman. He ain't going to be the one to beat Roman. And we don't even know when Roman's losing those belts. He can't go after the world's heavyweight title. He ain't anywhere near the tag picture. So unless he's going to be involved in the United States Championship, he's just going to have to get into a feud. Him and Bray would be interesting. Here we go. Bianca Belair. Welcome the longest reigning women's champion of the modern era. What does that mean? What does it mean? Mandy Rose would like to have a word. Kaylee Ray would like to have a word. They should say on the main roster, not including NXT or NXT UK. The longest reigning women's champion of the modern era. So we mean specifically since 2016. not including NXT or NXT UK, Bianca Belair! Yay! Doesn't hit the same though, does it? What's happening? Who's this? Who the flip's this? I don't even know who this music is. Oh, it's Asuka. What was that noise? There was some Empress of Tomorrow kind of noise. She's got mist, didn't she? Look. Everything all right, Asuka? EST. 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 Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, guys, guess what she's done? Guess what? She's just spat mist. Oh, my God. She just spat mist in her face. You know that? You know the woman that just came out with a mouth like that? She just spat mist in the other woman's face. Unbelievable scenes here on SmackDown. I tell you what, Bianca's selling it like a super trooper, though. Look at her. She's writhing around. She's screaming. Oh, Matt, I hope we go full on Jake the Snake, Rick the Model Martel, where she's got like contact lenses in and they're white and like you can't see her eyes anymore. She's like blinded temporarily. She's proper like screaming her head off. I can't believe it. How could Bianca have known? Well, I'll tell you what, that has definitely ruined the celebration. That has definitely ruined the celebration. Did Asuka forget she already had a opportunity, or did WWE forget we literally just did this feud before the EO one? Do you reckon someone backstage like, oh God, do you know what we've done? This feud. I mean, we've literally just done it. We did it at WrestleMania. Do you remember WrestleMania? Remember that show a couple of weeks back? WrestleMania. You'll never guess what the match was. It was this one. And we just forgot. I can't believe it. And now we're doing it again. The exact same thing. Because you won't believe it, but in the build for that match, it's coming back to me now. Asuka used to come out and she did the miss thing at Bianca, and we had Bianca like selling it, and we did that for weeks, you know, and we all forgot, and now we've done it again. Oh God, idiots. Oh, can't wait till people realize that we've mistakenly forgotten 3 months of build for WrestleMania. I mean, it's very brave. Perhaps we're going to do Sammy turning on the bloodline again as well. Perhaps Sammy's going to get kicked out of the bloodline again. What's happened is we've completely run out of ideas. And so what we're going to do is just going to rerun stories and hope no one notices, which is such clever booking. That is so clever. That is so clever. I can't wait. I've heard rumors we're doing Logan against Roman Reigns. Now, I know this is going to split opinion, but Logan Paul against Roman Reigns, SummerSlam this year, amazing. It's a once in a lifetime match. It's going to be a big deal, guys. It's going to be a big deal. And also, there's a spoiler, keep this to yourself. Dominik is going to turn on Rey. Yeah. It's going to be the big hot feud in the summer. big hot feuds. Dominik's going to turn on Ray. But it's fine, Days. This time, Asuka will win, says Shannon. It's a bold strategy. It's very bold. Michael Cole once famously said that the company repeats the same stories every 6 months. Well, we've cut that down. We've cut that right down. Every 6 months, every 6 weeks. Every 6 shows. Every 6 shows we repeat the same stories. I'm here for it. I love Asuka. I got no issue with this whatsoever. I am not moaning. I am not complaining. I am just merely observing. That is all I'm doing. 1 month, same story, said Tommy. There was a flashing skull behind Lashley. What's that? Oh, there's a picture of a spine behind Bianca. Help me. They're trying to, Bianca. Where's Montez? Why is he being such a bad partner? Help me! Help me! I'm stuck in a never-ending I can't get out of this feud! Help me! Lol. I feel for you, kids. I feel for you. They just gave her a towel, and in the end, she just like waved it around. There's medics in the world. She's gone to the medic area, and it's basically two WWE officials with towels just standing there, like hesitantly, like going, "Do you want a towel?" She's like, "No, I need proper medical assistance. Help me! Get a doctor. Is there not a doctor around?" Well, no, we don't have. We can't afford doctors. We've just got 2 blokes with towels. It's the same. It's basically the same. Help me! Brawling Brutes gets pretty deadly next week. Montez should help Bianca and be there with her in the medical room. You're right, Hayden. Absolutely right, mate. I don't want to say that they should get a divorce, but I think the evidence is there for us all to see. If I was in a relationship with Bianca, I'd be in there. Just saying. Don't want to say I'd be a better husband than Montez, but I mean, in all fairness, he might be having a good conversation with someone, you know. Can be hard to walk away from a good chat. Might be having a good conversation with Pretty Deadly. Who knows? Who knows what he's doing? Right, we are underway with our main event of the evening, and we're at nearly 1,000 votes. By nearly, I mean 93 votes away, so probably not that close. But it's achievable. It's the right side of achievable. Right, Bobby versus AJ. Main event time. After drowning Glenda, I doubt your husbandly abilities. I'm sorry, says Trini. Yeah, but I've grown from that. I've realized that drowning women is just not a long-term strategy for a healthy relationship. But how was I meant to know that without actually going through that experience? You know? That really helped me grow as a person. So I feel like Bianca would get the best of me now. She'd get a much better version of me now. Shots coming in by Bibbs. There's been some good wrestling on SmackDown. Golf clap. I don't know what a golf clap is. Is that where you use your butt cheeks? Is that a golf clap? Is that what the kids call that? Is that what you're doing right now? I was trying to find who sent that. There we go. NH. NH. In my mind, you've got your ass cheeks. I hope you... How old are you, NH? Actually, do you know what? I'm going to abandon that conversation. Oh, we're underway with AJ and Bobby. Night of Champions is 2 weeks from tomorrow, says Adam. Christopher said, Days, who would you have face Seth at Night of Champions out of AJ and Bibbs? Well, I mean, had it have been Bibbs, then you could have had AJ go after Roman, which I think people would have loved. Roman AJ for the title. And I think Bibbs and Seth is all right. Bibbs just isn't the most exciting, is he? Wrestler in the world. That's the only problem. Days, you are a better husband than Montez. And I thank you, says Blaze. Thank you, I thank you, Blaze. Blazed seeing my husband potential, my husband skills for what they are. Yeah, Bibbs, the thing with Bobby is he's not the exciting option, is he? I mean, you can think back to his recent matches. His matches against Brock were like, he wasn't at WrestleMania. He hasn't been. It's hard to get excited for a Bobby Lashley match. It's hard to get excited for a Bobby Lashley match. So if I say Bobby, then I already know everyone will be like, Bobby. You know, he's one of those, you kind of respect him, but like, oh God, I don't want to watch him. But I do think he's just walks that line of being face heel. You know, you can go either way with Bibbs. AJ, I think, is a face. So do we want to... I feel like the better match is Seth AJ. That's a banger, but you're going to split the crowds. Is that a problem? No, probably not. Is it a problem? No, we'll pick our favourite and just have a good old wrestling match, you know? So it's probably not a problem. It's just a bit... It's a bit more traditional to do babyface heel. But if I had the ability to book it, I would go AJ. I think it's the better match in it. But I would have gone Bobby and I would have turned him heel. Definitely have him as heel. Had I the ability to do Roman AJ. I think Roman AJ, main event of Night of Champions, Bobby Seth, final of the World Heavyweight Championship, turn Bobby monster heel, have him attack Seth, do some good builds. I think that'd be pretty good. I think that'd be all right. So, but we can't do that. So I think I'll probably go AJ. Now, what we do with Bobby, it's a good question. It's a question I think we keep coming back to be honest. It's a question I think we'll ask again in the near future. What do you do with Bobby? I'll tell you what you do with Bobby. You put him in the hurt business like everyone wants. Stop being so stingy, WWE. Get me what I want. Hayden said, what's the main event of SmackDown? I only see the TNA Championship match on TV. Ah, very good. Very good. Yeah, TNA. TNA main event in SmackDown. AJ Styles against Bobby Lashley. There's a few people in from TNA, actually. I mean, one of the most over stars is LA Knight. He was Eli Drake. I think Cameron Grimes, who wrestled tonight, I believe, has been over in... don't know if it was TNA or Impact, but it was one of them. I'm sure he's been over in that world. So, yeah, there's a few. That's just off the top of my head. If I thought about it more, I might think of some more. So I think what we've learned is that TNA was just ahead of its time. It was just ahead of its time. It was just about 20 years too soon, TNA. Shots coming, and also at times awful. But Timothy said, I asked a question. What was your question, Timothy? What was your question? Days, I asked question mark. What was it, Timothy? What was it? I am scanning, but I can't see your question, buds. Bobby is the only reasonable person to possibly take the heavyweight title against Seth and then transfer back to Raw, since that's what Triple H declared the title will go. Yeah, I think AJ's credible, though. I mean, AJ's one of the best wrestlers in WWE, so... I think what you've got with Bobby is legitimacy. I think he is a legitimate... He's someone that, if this was real, you could see Bobby being a top guy, the top guy. But when it comes to actual in-ring wrestling technical ability, you could really make the argument there's no one better than AJ. So, perfectly acceptable match, this. And I think either winner would be perfectly acceptable. Hence why, you know, if I could book anything, I'd probably have AJ in the main event, Bobby going through to the final of this, because I ain't got a problem with that. But if I can't do the AJ Roman match, then I'll probably put AJ through, because I just think it will result in a better match. I just think that Seth AJ is going to be a better match than Seth Bobby. And actually, 973. Who faces Seth? We're almost at 1,000. We just need 27 more votes. 26. If you have not voted in the poll, vote in the poll. Let's get to 1,000. I'll end it, and then we can see the results. Bang! I don't want to end it until we get to 1,000. We're so close. So close. This isn't even a drop a like plea. This is just because we're so close and I've got OCD. I don't know if I do have OCD. I might have OCD. I don't know. I really do want to get to 1,000. Days, WWE are bringing a WWE Premium Live event to Perth in the future. There's officials talking to the Australian government in Perth a few weeks ago. Good. Good, Adam. I hope they do. Our Australian friends, they deserve WWE just as much as anyone else. I know it might not seem that way sometimes, but they do. Timothy said, I asked, do you think they messed up not letting Edge win and Roman not defend his belts? I think it can be difficult to say if they've messed up until we're past it. You know, I think this Roman thing is part of a bigger story. So I do think he should be defending his belts, but I can't say they've messed up because I think it's part of a bigger story. And it's this Uso story, and I think it's going to play a big part in them. You know, I mean, this could be what kickstarts Solo, Roman versus Usos throughout the summer or something. So if that is the plan, then this could be a key part of that. And so, you know, we've got to do this kind of a situation, you know. But I do think he should be defending his titles. Yes, of course. But I can't say it's a mistake yet. Is it a mistake not having Edge in the final? Well, again, until Night of Champions has been and gone, I don't know what we're doing with Edge. They will have a plan for Edge. I mean, if it's going to be Edge versus Omos, then yeah, they probably have kind of dropped the ball a bit. But I think the thing is that people would say the same if AJ didn't get to the final. People would say the same if Seth didn't get to the final. The truth is there's just a lot of really popular wrestlers that people really like. AJ rolling through, looking for the calf crusher. So, yeah, you know, there's a lot of popular wrestlers. People really like a lot of these. I think they've got a few people they would like to see win this one, and Edge is in that conversation. I do think, though, it's a bit of a shame because he's retiring soon, and it's hard to see how we get him to a world title, and maybe the truth is we just don't. Maybe that's just not in his future. Maybe that's just not part of his return. Bobby looking for the pin on AJ. We've hit 1,000. Yay! Okay, ended the poll. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And 64% of you think AJ. 35% of you think Bibbs. So it seems like the community is thinking AJ is going to get it done. Bibbs charging over as AJ moves out the way. Bibbs goes into the corner. He's strike there by AJ. I don't believe you've got OCD. It's hell, so you would know if you had it. Yeah, I don't think... I agree. I don't think I've got OCD. I think I do have... maybe everyone's got it. I do have that thing whereby if we're really... Oh, AJ's won it. I didn't think he was going to win that there. He has just won it. AJ does pick up the victory So it is going to be AJ. Now, we've got about 3 minutes, unless I don't know what we're doing. So Cody and Brock at Night of Champions. Roman and Solo against Sammy and Kevin. So a phenomenal forearm, by the way, won it for AJ. And now at Night of Champions, we've also got Seth, AJ. I mean, that's a great match, isn't it? That's a great match. Seth versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles looking. I wondered who that was, but it was Michin. Out of nowhere, someone came out going. But it was Michin. I thought it was a fan. I thought someone had just snuck backstage. The way they came out so excited and giddy, like, I was like, that ain't no wrestler. Who's that? And it was Michin. It was Michin. Hilarious. Yeah, well, we've still got a couple of minutes here. I've been shortchanged. What's going on? What's going on, WWE? That's got to be a meme. That's got her coming out with her arms, like, circling round. If that's not all over Twitter, then Twitter's broken. Yeah, what was I saying about the OCD thing? Could you imagine if the OC added another person that started with, they could be OCD as well. If they add Drew, then they could be OCD. But no, I think everyone has that thing, don't they? When you're really close to, like, say, 1,000 votes, or you're really close to, getting to something, and you want to. I don't have that ability to go, that's close enough. I don't know. I'm always like, no, yeah, look, we're so close. I want to get there. But I don't have the turn lights on and off 50 times before I leave a room thing. That would be awful. That would be awful. Everyone does have some form of OCD. It doesn't mean they have the mental illness that's OCD. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't have that. I think it's interesting though, isn't it? I don't really ever think about those quirky little things that I do. But I would say that's one. I'd say that's one where I, if I'm, like, really close to a number like that, I will always want to get to that number. Is that OCD though? I don't know. Don't know. Greggy said 725. Greg says 8. Smackdown was a big old 10 out of 10 for me, says Bryson. Braden said, I want Styles to win at Night of Champions. He returned from injury, went through Edge, Ray, and Bibbs. He deserves it. It's a hard choice between Styles and Seth, but go Styles. I love that. Yeah, people rooting, like, people will be on different sides of the fence, won't they? Some will want Seth, some will want Styles. It is going to split opinion, but, well, as you said, I mean, does it matter? No, doesn't, does it really? I mean, doing face versus face and we pick a side. I mean, if everyone's not going to be behind the same person, it's not the traditional route, but it doesn't really matter. We saw it with Hogan and Warrior at WrestleMania 6. It's one of the best main events ever. Ratings seem good. I'm peeved. I missed it all, said Derek. Braden said, thank you for reading mine. Welcome. Stream ends in 5 minutes. It's clear that Seth's going to win since he's on Raw. If AJ wins, he'll be separated from the OC. But will he? What if they take the OC with him? Because the OC was one draft pick. OC was, when they drafted, you got everyone. It was a buy one, get 3 free offer that was running. So, could we see OC move to Raw and Cody move to SmackDown? Could we? Just saying. What you mentioned are OCD tendencies, but they're not debilitating mental illness of OCD. AEW Wembley bowl haircut kid. Oh, you need to speak to Wrestle with that. I feel like Wrestle with Andy knows about that kid better than anyone else. The British Bulldog is going to win whether he wants to or not. Harry Smith showing up with Matilda 3.0. How about the first Matilda? How about the original Matilda? Just dragging a load of bones on a lead. It's quite dark, isn't it? It's not my fault. Days, people say no one watches Impact, but they're going on tour in Australia in a 10,000-seater stadium. It's like the dummies hating on AEW for doing well at Wembley. That's very good. Watson, 8.5. Shout out to you. AB Jobson said it was a very good show. 8.5. Trini said, who wouldn't love you, Big Willie? Is that really something you wanted to put out there on the internet, Trini? Is that really a comment that you hoped would be read out? Was it? I mean, I read it. And it's all got a little bit awkward. Timothy said, why couldn't they have Rikishi and Heyman win the tag belts? Well, it's a good point. And I don't know how many times we're going to have to keep going over this. The chemistry is just not there. That's the truth. The chemistry is just not there between them. Hopefully one day they can get on the same page and then they can take over the WWE. I've got a feeling Rikishi will probably do most of the work, though. Days, don't worry, Trini, he's with me. Don't worry, Trini, he's with me getting a soda. Who is Big Willie? What? Jim said, I heard a rumor that Night of Champions is being moved, or am I having a dream? I think you're having a dream. Out of all your WWE Mattels, what's your top favorite? As in, the house is burning, and what two do you grab? That's a lovely question. House is burning. What would I grab? Well, I've got a quite rare Rey Mysterio pop vinyl, which I believe goes for a good few $100s. So I definitely wouldn't want to see that go up in smoke. So that might be the rarest figure I might have. I haven't looked at the current prices of some of these, to be honest. But I know that that pop vinyl is pretty rare. So I think I would be grabbing that. I think I'd be grabbing that. I don't think that counts as part of your Mattel question. But I'm just being honest. I'm actually now honestly thinking, if I quickly came here and I was like, oh my God, what do I grab? I think that would be one of the first things I'm going for. So I'm grabbing that. And then Mattel figure-wise, tricky, to be honest. Tricky. I think I'd grab the Rockers. The Rockers, I've got the Rockers, and it's the only Marty Jannetty figure, right? Everyone's favorite killer, Marty Jannetty. They only made this, the only Marty Jannetty figure they made. They came out in, I think, 2010 or very early 2011. There's not many Rockers era Shawn Michaels figures, full stop. They did another one a few years ago, but they only did Shawn. They didn't do Marty Jannetty. And I really like those figures. They're not the greatest face scans or anything, but they were a bit of a holy grail because they were so limited. They've been quite expensive ever since I started collecting. I finally got around to getting some off eBay. Good few years ago now. I think they've held their value, but to be honest, I think that would just be a bit of a holy grail type thing, you know? That was like, they were the ones that I was like, yeah, one day I'm going to get the Rockers. And I finally got them. So I think probably the Rockers. The Rey Mysterio pop vinyl. And when I was a kid, I had a holy grail. When I was a kid, there was a figure I desperately wanted, and it was Dusty Rhodes Hasbro. Dusty Rhodes Hasbro was like rare. I don't know why, but it was just rare. I don't even know how I knew it was rare, but it must have been someone told me it was rare. You never saw it in the shops, and my friends told me it was rare, and I mean it is, to be honest. I think the 1, 2, 3 kid might be rarer. I'm not sure. how much they tend to go for. But I do have a Dusty Rhodes, and I do have a 1, 2, 3 Kids. So I'd probably be reaching for those as well. So a bit of everything, actually. I'd be grabbing a pop vinyl. I'd be grabbing a Hasbro. I'd be grabbing a Mattel. I'd be grabbing a suitcase, really. I'd be grabbing a fire extinguisher. That's what I should be grabbing. If the house is burning down, I should be grabbing buckets of water. This stream ends in 3 minutes. That is confirmed. 3 minutes we are ending this. What would you score it? I would give it an 8, said Mr. Dell Jr. Probably a 7.5. For me, unless there's like an OMG moment. Now, what I would say is the Roman segment's very good. Wrestling's pretty good. I would say, though, I just felt, I don't know what it was about that first match, but the Edge, Ray, we know there's the botch at the end. But it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem to grab people. Like the crowd were a bit, I don't know, they were just watching it. There wasn't really any chance. The crowd were a bit quiet. The match in a few places just seemed to, I don't know, just very spot heavy. So yeah, it was what it was. Thought the women's tag match was okay. I thought the second triple threat was okay. I think maybe some of the in-ring action was all right, but didn't blow me away. So, you know, for that reason, I think we're already getting down into the 7s and the 8s. I don't like to go into the 8s unless I've got a true OMG moment. But I do think that moment where Roman said we need to talk, we have got a problem. It's not Sammy and Kevin. It's your brothers. That was a good moment, in all fairness. That moment, I think, might be enough to unlock the 8s. I think that is a moment that is big enough to unlock the 8s. But I still don't think we quite get there because I don't think the in-ring was strong enough, to be honest. I don't think the in-ring was strong enough. I don't think the crowd was that great. They were okay, but... So, yeah, 7.5, maybe 7.75, but I wouldn't be going above that for me personally. I'm hard to please. I'm hard to please. And I do not apologize for that. If you want my love and affection, you got to work at it. But no denying, good show. Enjoyed it. Not a chore to watch. Talking points. Looking forward to doing the review. It's not really a review. It's more of a recap. Looking forward to doing it. Got a few notes, got a few images. Lovely. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow with KSI against Joe Fournier. Big fight. Big stream. Last time we did a KSI stream, it did like 400,000 views. I don't think this will do that, to be honest. I just haven't seen the hype around this as much. So I don't think it'll be that crazy. But should still be a big fun stream if you are around. That's going to be pretty early because it's coming from Wembley, not Stadium, Arena. They can't sell out Wembley Stadium like AEW. But they're coming from Wembley Arena. I think it's actually the OVO Arena. I'm not sure. OVO Arena. So, yes, anyway, that's tomorrow. So we've got that coming up tomorrow. And don't think we got anything on Sunday. But, yeah, done. Lovely. Right, let me read this in Big Time Baxter. Raw, same week in 2020, did 1.7, and that was in 86 million homes that had USA Network. Fast forward to 2023, they've done 1.7, but that's in 69 million homes. Meltzer thinks WWE is hesitant. Oh, it's gone. What? Oh, William! Why did you delete that? Ah, he's such a Scrooge. Heel move, said William. Yeah, you deleted it whilst I was reading it. Well, joke's on you because I can view deleted messages. Meltzer thinks WWE is hesitant staying with USA for another 5 years. I think that's probably fair. I mean, it's hard for me sitting here to know how the landscape of American TV is looking. But if they were in 86 million homes, now they've gone down to 69 million homes. I can understand that being a concern. because the trajectory doesn't look great, does it? But so I think that could be into consideration, but it's going to come down to who offers the biggest amount of cash. That's gonna be probably what decides things the most. I mean, I would imagine that they would sign with USA for another 5 years. They've been the home of Raw for I know they did step away for a little time, but for the majority of its life, it's been on USA. So yeah, I think if there was a way that they could get bigger reach, I think that would be a factor. But how much money they're getting paid is also going to be a massive factor. So if USA can put up the zeros, as long as there's some sort of number in there, but as long as they can put a number up with enough zeros, then I think they've still got a great chance. Doesn't bother me. I should imagine that I'll still be able to watch it on BT Sport. But my American friends, be interesting to see where it does end up for you lot. Perhaps you'll have to go to Facebook Watch. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if it went onto like Facebook or went into the metaverse? The only way to watch it is with a flipping virtual reality headset. You'd all come crawling here then, wouldn't you? What's happening? What's happening? Not telling you. I'd have to be sat here in one as well. That would be sick. That is the future of wrestling, innit? I mean, it's going to absolutely destroy watch-alongs. But, imagine that and you're just in the front row. Or you're the ref. Or you're Michael Cole. And you can just, look around and you just... Oh, man. In the future, you'll be able to do stuff like that, wouldn't you? In the future, you'll be able to put on a VR headset and you'll be able to actually walk out in front of the crowds. Because if I was WWE, I would say to the fans, right, at WrestleMania, just before we start with WrestleMania, we want to do something. And that is we're going to bring the cameraman out. We want you all to go crazy like it's your favorite superstar. Because this is going to be a virtual reality experience for people. If you've got a virtual reality headset, you can be that person that can see what this camera's about to see. So we want you to go crazy. We want you to go mental. And so then when the cameraman comes out and you've got a stadium going banana, you could experience that through virtual reality. Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Walking down the ramp. That'd be good. And then Brock's music hits and you poop yourself. How do I get out? How do I get out? The beast is coming. Mitchell said, Roman not defending either of his world championships and challenging for other titles at Night of Champions is hilarious. Well, listen, if you think that's funny, just wait till he goes to AEW at Wembley and competes for the AEW World Championship, just so he can get another belt. He's going to go on a world tour. WWE already posted the Roman Usos segment. Seems that's what they're going to push hard lead into Night of Champions, says Juana. I'm mad about what Asuka did to Bianca Belair, said Dennis. I wish everyone a good night, says X Music. Ledge Killer says great stream. Thank you. Shout out to you. Days, what do you think Roman will do to the Usos if they don't get their act together? Well, probably tell them to go. I don't know that he'll turn on them and attack them. Maybe he will out of just frustration. Normally it's the ones we love we hurt the most. So maybe he will act out in that way. I mean, from an entertainment point of view, he probably should. But if we were going realistic, he'd probably just tell them to leave. Tell them they've let him down, they've let the family down, and just go. But we probably won't do that. He'll probably mess them up. He'll probably smash them around. So yeah, I mean, it certainly feels like this is heading to that sort of a conclusion, doesn't it? Don't know when, don't know where. Do you agree AJ Seth just feels like a Triple H match, doesn't it, says Megan? Yeah, very much so. I think he really appreciates the in-ring work of both. I think he likes both. And yeah, I'd say that feels like a Triple H match. Neither are big enough to be a Vince match. I just got put in a 5-minute time out. Who's silencing people, said Big Time Back. Oh, come on, it's William. William's gone full on heel. You know who's silencing people. But right, okay, we're done. I need to get ready to do the post-show recap thing. Thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed tonight's action. I thought, as we said, it was pretty good. Seems like the scores were pretty high as well, so it seems like you lot enjoyed it. And yeah, I think that's everything. We're back tomorrow. Massive stream. Hopefully I'll see you there, or pop in, share your thoughts if you are around. And have a great weekend, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.